What's up, everybody? Welcome to PSI Love You XOXO episode 47. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the new face of video games. Even though we never decided how long you can be new. I noticed last week we started a whole conversation about this and never actually came down.
We never actually answered the question.
We got distracted by who actually, when you heard face of video games, what do you think of? Everybody said Mario, we get it, or Miyamoto, we get it. All right. New face of video games, Blessing, Adeoye Jr.
I think 2021 is when we cut it off.
So we give you 1 year.
Yes, I think 1 year is enough to be new, and then by the time we get to year 2, it's like, all right, no, you're just here now. I don't know if you call me the face of video games or if you give me a new nickname, because I feel like new face of video games. It's like, okay, how many people are going to be the new face of video games? Being the face of video games, I feel like that's a more competitive space. When you take off the new, because then I'm entering a space that is competitive.
Apparently, it's you and Mario. It's you, Mario, and Jeff Keighley competing.
And Dr. Lupo.
And Dr. He didn't get that many votes. You know what I mean? How many people wrote in about him? Well, that's just because you were impressed he called in last week.
I was very impressed.
Who do you think will have called this week?
Oh, God. I hope nobody.
Blessing, how are you? I haven't seen you today.
I'm doing pretty good. I got my Fuser shirt. I don't know if you saw my Twitter post or my fleet that I put up, because they got fleets now.
Yeah, I've noticed the fleets. I've seen fleets.
I did a whole fleet unboxing because Fuser sent over this swag package, and you've been in this industry way longer than I have, and so you've probably seen these swag packages come in many shapes and forms. Yeah, it got delivered to my door, and I was blown away by the size and weight of the packages that I got from Fuser.
Yeah,
I opened it up, and inside it was this big old briefcase. Like this silver Fuser briefcase, which already in and of itself was nice.
Was it briefcase really cool. Or luggage? Because it looked like a roller bag.
Or I guess it's a luggage. Yeah, it's like a roller luggage. And I opened it up, and inside it is this shirt, which is a really cool shirt. I really like it. There's Beats headphones that I have right here, like wireless Beats Solo Pros. Which is very impressive. New Adidas shoes. Like Fuser styled Adidas shoes, and then like the list goes on and on. I got a new mask, a Fuser mask.
Oh wow!
And I'm like, and it's like I've never received a package that like was this luxurious, like this over the top. And so like I feel like I finally acquired the title of new face of video games.
That's what did it. The Fuser package is what put you over the
Fuser package. Yeah.
No, I want to. So how do you feel about that? This is your first year in the industry. You were about to come up on your January anniversary. As you said, you've gotten press packages, but now you're starting to get to this point where holiday season is when they get ridiculous, when everybody's pushing for the fall, the big fall releases. What is your take on 1 year in the industry of seeing these ridiculous packages you get, oftentimes without a copy of the game?
Yeah, no, it's actually funny because the one I got, it had a copy of the game, or I had like a code for the Switch for the game, but it was missing a character, and I tried to redeem it, and I was like, I don't have it in me to try and redeem this thing by guessing all the different characters that could be missing, and so I just tweeted it out, and somebody else got it. But I mean, it's cool. It feels weird. Like I'm fine with like the like small things here and there, like in terms of here's a notebook or like a notepad or whatever, or here's a hat. Or like, here's our Butterfinger shirt that we sent you.
That's what I'm wearing right now. I was cold and I was like, I need a sweatshirt. And I was like, oh, there's my Game Better with Butterfinger one that came in. Keep in mind, we are sponsored this week, not by either of these two things.
No, not at all. But yeah, no, now that I got the big old Fuser luggage, I'm like, dude, part of me was like, did they send this to the right person? Did they get me mixed up with somebody who has a way bigger following? Because I almost feel like my following isn't big enough to be receiving these sorts of luggages. And I don't necessarily even expect that many more at this point.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll get more. No, but yeah, you feel weird about it. Like, did you come in here thinking there was a more? I mean, you've been covering games, obviously. You've been doing OKB, so you've been obviously just a student of the game for a long time too. Are you feeling? You said it feels weird. Is it weird that you don't think you have the following for it, or is it weird like in an ethical sense?
A little bit of both. And I know like Kind of Funny occupies the weird space of being a YouTube channel and being influencers and being these different things, but then also on the other side, talking about games and reviewing games and all these things, being media, right? And like, I don't necessarily have any issues with it in like an ethical sense. Though like I don't know, I if I worked for like an IGN or like something that lean like a Kotaku, something that leaned more like way more toward the journalism side of
editorial,
things.
Like,
yeah. Like if I was Jason Schreier, then I'd be like, all right, I don't know how I feel about all these things. Kind of funny is like casual enough to where I'm like, how dare I'm not like how dare they send me this stuff. But it is one of those things where like at OK Beast, like I don't think I would have like not I would have accepted this stuff, but like I it wouldn't be like a oh look, you know, I got this like Butterfinger's not a video game publisher. I got this Fuser shirt, right? That I'm going crazy about. I don't know, it's like this weird push and pull, I guess, of it.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have done it for OK Beast, but you do it for us.
Yeah, I'd say so. Because OK Beast is like way more.
Okay, go ahead.
Like OK Beast, I was way more like when I was part of OK Beast, I was trying to be like way more like a hey, we're on the editorial side. Like we're trying to push more toward trying to be like a Kotaku or a Polygon or an IGN, right? Where like kind of funny, I feel like is straddles the middle of that enough, you know?
Yeah, we're our own thing. We're in one breath, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think the exact, like, one of the best recent examples of what Kind of Funny is, because it is a hybrid, it is its own unique thing, is that today on Kind of Funny Games Daily, you made an incredibly, like, precise and eloquent point about this Quebec studio that was championing diversity, but then you read their entire statement and then you showed their page of just a bunch of white guys. And you're very much like, look, this is the point I'm making, which was salient and pointed and perfect. And it was immediately followed by Kevin coming on mic and going, yeah, look at that one dumb looking guy.
He just looked so sad. Everyone else was smiling, you know?
I'm just saying that's the space we occupy.
Yeah,
where I think we can make those kind of things and do those kind of things. I hear you, and like those packages do go out to IGN. Or I'm not talking specifically about Fuse, obviously, or Fuser. I've seen, you know, I don't know who got it there, if they did or whatever, but those packages do exist outside of it. And I think what's interesting for it is like, you know, especially for me, I just talked in a journalism class at the University of Tennessee on Friday, and I was talking to them a little bit about what we do and what space we occupy and what games journalism is right now and all that jazz. And for ethics, you know, especially to go back and talk at a college class and talk about what it was like for me to go to IGN after working at a newspaper and after getting my journalism degree, and get there and be like, oh my God, like publishers are paying for trips and you're going to these trips and then you're also going out for drinks with devs and all these different people. And really over 14 years, and again, for what I do, for what Kind of Funny does, wrestling with, and I think a long time ago, coming to terms with like, what we do and what I do is not video game journalism, right? I'm not trying to be a journalist. We're trying to be critics and critique things and tell you if we like them or don't like them. And if you really want to take a step back from that, and I think and talk about the machine, that's a part of the machine, right? And like, even though we're independent of it and we're not paid by anybody to say, you know, what to say we like a game or don't like a game or whatever, right? For a review, for a critique, like, it's still part of the marketing machine. It's still part of how they market their game and do their game. Like, that's why there's a PR and marketing department. That's why there's, even if they aren't sending you a sweatshirt, a hat, a luggage, they're having a conversation with you and sending you a code. And again, as we've seen, you know, with PlayStation 5s getting distributed this, review cycle, and codes in general getting distributed. Like, not everyone gets those, and different people get them for different reasons. And I would venture to say, and this is a broad brush where I'm sure there's other things, the people who are getting them aren't getting them for they're good people. And if they're not getting them, most people probably aren't getting them because they're bad people or whatever, or you know what I mean? Or you understand what I'm saying there. You're getting it because of the audience you have, and you're getting it because of what you're doing, and if you're accomplishing, and if you have reach, and if you have people coming to you for something. So we have people coming to us for honest reviews and honest critiques, and people can accept that you're wearing a Fuser shirt, and I'm going to talk about a video game sponsor in a little bit. And if we didn't believe in either of those things, you wouldn't wear the shirt and we wouldn't accept the sponsorship. And they know that when they do hear me talk about Spider-Man, Assassin's Creed, whatever the hell else I'm going to review or talk about, Cyberpunk eventually, that even if I've worked with them in the past or they sent us a t-shirt, they know that we would still call the game bullshit if it was bullshit. Yeah, I think that's the space and I think for IGN, for somebody coming in, it is a different beast often, is what that looks like. Not that it ever stopped, even when I was working at IGN, the amount of swag boxes and things you get. Now, again, being the influencer side of it, I think we get crazier boxes because they do, want you to put it on your Instagram. They do want you to put it on Twitter. They do want you to wear it on a show.
Yeah, I think that's like the bigger difference to it when it comes down to for me, right? Of like, Kind of Funny is very personality driven, and there is kind of a Kind of Funny cinematic universe where, like, if I'm talking about a thing or if I receive a thing, right, like we're usually very open in terms of talking about like relationships, or like whenever you're talking about a game that Jen might be doing work on, right, like you usually disclose that. And like it's not you all the time. I don't know.
I was a joke for them, not you. You did fine.
But like for me, I think that's kind of where this comes back to, is like we're very honest about how we feel about games, or like where like another thing I got sent to me, right, was like these Miles Morales shoes. I'm not sure like the complete source on, because Joey was the one who handled that for me. Like I just opened the mail, I'm like, oh shoot, I got these Miles Morales shoes. But like I also had critiques on Miles Morales the game, right, that like people will point out, and like those two things don't affect each other, because part of what makes Kind of Funny work is the fact that, one, we're personality driven, but then also we have a relationship with the audience that is open and honest, and like the big reason why all this works is because we're honest, and people can trust us, and we operate in a way that people are able to trust us, which makes me feel way more okay about getting these swag bags and stuff, as opposed to like if I was, and even OK Beast would be the example, since I did OK Beast, right? Like it's not even that I would like reject anything if I was with OK Beast, or like I wouldn't feel good about getting packages or getting any sort of merchandise. I think it'd more so be the way of like, all right, how are we disclosing this? Because we do for OK Beast, we did more writing and more video editorial content as opposed to just podcasts. Like podcasts are an easy thing of like, oh yeah, we can mention it, or we have this back and forth relationship with each other, and then also the audience. For OK Beast, it's like, all right, well, if we're reviewing a thing, we should probably like put it in the written review somewhere, that like there's this either a relationship or a thing going on here. Like, how do we disclose that in a way that feels honest and ethical and open?
Yeah, you nail it. I think, the ethics policy here has been the same from day one, right? And that's that we would tell the audience everything. Like, you would know if something's sponsored or not sponsored. You would know, even if we did take a sponsorship, part of the agreement is, cool, if we don't like the game when it's final or whatever, we're going to say we don't like it, and nobody would work with us otherwise. If they thought that they could buy us that way, they would never work with us. And if they ever got burned and thought we fucked them, nobody would ever work with us again. But that's not the problem we have, let alone the fact that, I've been covering PlayStation for 14 years. And so if you don't trust me about that already, that's fine. There's hundreds of thousands of other people who do, and that's how it all shakes out. Let's get into it.
Sorry. One second. Before we go forward, I need a cut for a second and then come back.
Okay. So everybody, we're going to cut for a second and come back. That's Kevin Coelho on the ones and twos. And we're back. Are we live on the YouTube and everything else too, Kev?
Yep.
All right, then. Ladies and gentlemen, let's keep talking about PlayStation, because this is PS I Love You XOXO. Every week, Blessing and I come together to nerd out about all things PlayStation, and you're invited along for the ride and to be part of it. Of course, you can write in at patreon.com/kindafunnygames with your PlayStation topics under the sun, your questions, your concerns, everything else. Of course, you can write in with your PSN profile to be judged by Blessing and myself. All that's done on patreon.com/kindafunnygames, where, of course, you could watch us record the show live, just like Demetrius Newell is, Mike L is, the Lou is, and then Mike L's been going back and forth with the Lou here, right? And Mike L says au gratin, and then the Lou says one of the best kinds of potatoes. Where are you, Blessing, with au gratin potatoes?
I don't even. What's an au gratin potato?
It sucks, is what it is. It's terrible. Potatoes au gratin, they suck. You slice them real thin and you lay them there.
Bro,
and you put the
bad call. It's like a mix of cheese and, I don't know, cream. It's so good.
It's disgusting.
Is it a way to make the potato, or is it kind of potato that you buy?
No, it's how you make
dish.
It.
Au gratin?
Yeah, AO space GRA. Wait, hold on, I screwed that up already. AU space GRATIN.
Oh, it's like ratine or something like that.
Yeah. You don't want this. Don't ever get this, Blessing. All right. In fact,
Bless,
if you go to a restaurant, this
casserole.
is on the menu, I want you to leave.
Yeah, it looks like potato casserole.
If it's on the menu, you leave.
Bless. Hear me out. They're thin slices, real thin slices, real just good. Oh my god!
So
I mean, I really like potatoes, and I really like cheese. Like right now, the way that Kevin's explaining them, they sound great. I would have au gratin potatoes. And they're creamy. Oh man, give it to me.
If you don't want to give us any bucks, I understand. You can save them, but you'll have to go to youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, roosterteeth.com, or podcast services around the globe each and every Tuesday when the show posts at 6 a.m. However, you'll have a show with ads in it because on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, no ads. And you won't have the post show we do. That's exclusive to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. So come on over and hang out with us. Housekeeping for you. Remember, a lot of you motherfuckers have finally beaten Spider-Man Miles Morales, which means you can now go listen to Kind of Funny Games Cast, Spider-Man Miles Morales spoiler cast with Brian Horton from Insomniac Games. You can go to kindoffunny.com/miles right now to watch that YouTube episode, getting into every one of the story points, talking about the future, talking about how the game came to be, and then just having a good time. Of course, it's up on podcast services around the globe as Kind of Funny Games Cast. So go check it out as you beat it. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Blackjack, Tom Bach, ALWT Gaming, Kevin is the best Christmas elf, Jeffrey P. Long, Central West Gaming, and James Hastings. Today, we're sponsored by What the Golf It's Snow Time, available exclusively on Apple Arcade, but I'll tell you about that later. For now, let's start with topic of the show.
Greg, this is gonna bother me the whole episode. If Jen walks by in the background, I need you to ask her, how do you pronounce au gratin? Because I think it's I would imagine it's au gratin.
Now here's the thing:
it's French.
Yeah, it is, but that's like one of the things. Keep in mind, the French pronounce French words very differently than Americans pronounce American words, or French. How Americans pronounce French words. All right.
Sure. But then, like, because AU, I understand, right? AU, just as a word in French, would be. Would it be O?
No, it's
like the way you pronounce it, or is it A?
We call
what
it.
What am I thinking? Or maybe I'm thinking of AUX. Right? AUX might be O.
AUX is definitely O.
Okay. Gratin, because like the TIN would be like a 10. Gratin.
Well, you've heard how she says Tintin, right?
No.
Tintin. That's how they say.
Yes, there's like a twang to it there.
So it'll be great thing. Because I guess you know.
Oh, I like that.
But even that, like, I don't think that's true. You know what I mean? Because there's, you know how French words are. It's like, oh, well, there's a vowel inside the 30-yard marker, so this whole word changes meaning. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah, that makes sense. 30-yard marker.
English never does that.
Never does that at all.
English is the easiest language.
Blessing topic of the show. As we record this, it is, of course, Monday, the 23rd. Tuesday, the 24th is when it'll post. And that will be the final day of Kind of Funny programming, because here in the United States, it is Thanksgiving week. Every time we sit down to do a P.S. I Love You, bless, we sit here, you and I, we look at topic of the show, and we think, what could we do here? What is topical? What would make sense for us right here? We go through reader mail. We go through all the stuff. We figure out what we want to put in there. What sprung out to me today was a good old fashioned Thanksgiving. For me is always the kickoff of the wind down of the year. It's that month, you know, that it starts the month between Thanksgiving and Christmas, when everybody just checks out, and then you're getting ready for New Year's. You're closing out whatever year you're in. You're starting to think about the next year. I figured, since we're in this reflective mood to start it off, since we have the PlayStation 5, since all is right with the world, why not talk about what we're thankful for in the world of PlayStation 2020 edition? So this would be what we're thankful for. And it can be anything. It can be long things. It can be short things. It can be just us here. You can pour yourself a bourbon if you want, bless. You have my permission to drink on the job. It's your Thanksgiving holiday party, all right? If you want to do that. Go do it.
Do we need permission to drink?
I mean, it's Kevin. Since you're not on camera, you can just drink whatever you want.
I've been drinking.
I know. I'm just acting like it's a thing. You know, just doing it. Chat. If you're out there watching live right now, I see Good Hunter in there. Go ahead, crack yourself a bourbon.
I'll do it.
Oh, he's doing all right. Kevin, you cover with me, and then I'll pour myself a bourbon here for this holiday.
All right, what do you want me to say? Kevin,
this is officially the holiday party for PSLW XOXO. I'm waiting.
That's very exciting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
But you XCast crew's not doing a holiday party. Losers.
Here's what I bet XCast is doing: packing up their boxes because they're all fired. We said we would do this thing through the launch of the Series X. It's over. Start saying goodbye to Gary Witta, everybody. Say goodbye to Snowbike Mike. All right, get out is what I say. Out. You know, we tried it. It turns out we can't have two platform podcasts. No, there's got to be one.
Everyone's
you know
like,
what I mean?
Oh,
it confused the message. People showed up, and they were like, "Wait, is this an Xbox channel or a PlayStation channel?" Now it got real confusing.
Can't be both.
It can't be both. It's got to be one or the other. You know what I mean? That's how it's got to be. All right, now blessing you talk. I'm gonna pour bourbon.
Sweet. I got myself an Angry Orchard. I'm
look
very
at that.
excited
Yeah,
about
that
it.
looks good. Oh,
Green
man.
apple. Oh my god, dude! Oh my god, Greg's military pants. Look at
Yeah,
that.
they caught me off guard.
Yeah, caught me off guard too.
I didn't like
Just
it.
straight up blending in with the background. Look at Porty. Porty is all confused. Porty is like, why is Greg just floating in the air? Just his torso.
I thought that Nick with camo sweats was bad. I stand
Is that
corrected.
a thing Nick does?
Yeah. Yeah, you should check him out. He's usually wearing them. He wears them most days.
Really? It's like me with the gray sweatpants.
I don't look at your pants.
Good.
This is one of those things like, I have some respect for you. So I don't have to judge your clothes all aggressively like I do with Nick.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, is Nick's like lower half visible on camera? Because I realize that's the thing I can get away with. I can wear the same sweatpants every day. And like knowing that only my top half is visible.
His angle recently got lower than it was, but I don't think it's visible. I don't think you can see. Yeah.
But he happens to get up, and that's when you notice like he's still wearing the military pants, huh?
Yeah. He gets up a lot.
Still wearing them.
Not you. We're talking about Nick's military pants.
Oh god, he's always wearing those. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Although, just so you know, just so you're aware, because you're probably gonna get tweets from this, we were shocked when you got up.
You know what they are? They're my insert coin PlayStation ones. Yeah. I'm low on the chain right now of
Well, you know what else is low? Those pants. Pull them up a little bit, bud.
Why? Did you see some stuff? You see the crack? Am I hanging brain?
Jesus Christ!
Not hanging brain that low. I was like, whoa! Look at that, man.
Now, speaking, by the way, of just the show. Clearly, this is how this episode's going. It's the holiday party for Thanksgiving, so everybody strap in. All right. We were talking about swag bags, right? Look at this. I'm drinking out of this. Hold on. I cover my face, right, Kevin?
Yeah, there it is. Look at that. Wow.
There you go.
Look at that.
That's that mafia, whatever.
Saliers.
Yeah, that's the mafia thing.
Is that an
you
eye?
want to talk about?
That's an eye, yeah. Salieri.
Salieri. And so like they sent a crazy package. Remember the package had the crazy keyboard and the glasses and a whole bunch of other stuff like from the Mafia universe.
Edition?
I haven't even turned that game on. So there you go. See what we're talking about earlier?
That's one of those things that you pass on to Barrett because he's like the big Mafia person.
Well, here's the thing. What I did is I put it up and then, that's when you come and say, hey, can I have that? But like, come on now. I want the cocktail glasses. We just bought glasses like this. You know what I mean? Like, I need two more. Why not?
Remember that time Patreon gave us cocktail glasses, but like just didn't give me one? That hurt.
I do remember. You understand though. Did you ever hear this story, Bless? You remember this story?
No, I don't understand. I had been to their offices multiple times.
We launched Kind of Funny. It's a huge success on Patreon. And this isn't even a character. Huge success on Patreon. We're like their golden child, right? Because it was just as they were getting big, or launching really. So we're doing all the interviews and stuff like that. End of the year comes around. They sent gifts for Christmas to like, I don't know, the biggest creators or whatever, the people who had done the most for the platform. I don't fucking know. But then they sent us, because we drank at the time on Game Over Greggy's show. They sent us a snifter, or not a snifter, a decanter, where you could pour a bottle of bourbon into it, and it said Kind of Funny on it. And then they sent us 4 glasses with our initials all etched in them. But of course, there was 5 people.
Oh, that's great.
Kevin being one of them. So
and
Kevin
you know what these
bastards
did all the time? They would drink from it. So I just sit there with my like solo cup, just watching them drink bourbon, and then.
What do you want me to do, Kevin? Go make you a glass?
Yeah.
Were there no other?
100%.
This is when you were still at the apartment, right?
Yeah.
Were there like no other glasses in the apartment? Why are you using a solo cup, Kevin?
Oh, we wouldn't let Kevin use any of the real glasses.
It's just one of those things, keep them clean,
Yeah, exactly. Come on now. What if we had a guest over? What if Aisha Tyler drops in? We can't have it. Oh, sorry, Kevin.
She did that one
glass.
time.
You drink out of Portillo's bowl. Like, I can't do that again.
It's very fair.
Had to do it to Joy Baker once. Broke my heart. Blessing.
Greg.
In the world of PlayStation 2020 edition, what are you thankful for? What springs to mind?
The first thing that springs to mind for me is this whole year of games, but more specifically the weirder ones. Like we talk a lot about old PlayStation and weird PlayStation, and we had whole topics about is PlayStation taking enough risks, and we reference that all the time, right? Because I think that's a big focus point when you look at what PlayStation has become with their exclusives, with their franchises, which I think is a great thing, but at the same time might leave room for desiring stuff that's different, right? When we look at God of War, when we look at Spider-Man, when we look at Horizon, and we're like, okay, these are awesome games, right? Throw Ghost of Tsushima in there. These are awesome games, but they're all kind of similar in terms of being these prestige third-person action games. With that, I think this year PlayStation has done a very good job in terms of branching out, and I think part of that is, hey, let's make a diverse launch lineup. And I also think part of that is them being like, yo, how do we spice things up a bit? And so, I'm talking about games like Dreams. I'm talking about games like Sackboy, Astro, and even Ghost of Tsushima Legends, which I think all for me are. Dreams is a weird one because it's been around for so long, but aside from that, right? Like, these are all games that if I was to look at PlayStation and try to predict what they're going to put out in 2020, none of those would come to mind. You can even throw Miles Morales in there as one where I know it's Spider-Man, but it is this 1.5 as opposed to a.
It caught us off guard, yeah.
And caught us off guard, made us go crazy at its reveal. That's the thing I'm definitely thankful for in the world of PlayStation in 2020 is like the weirder or different titles they've been able to produce.
Sure. I think so much of that comes back to, the conversation we've had, and I'm glad to see so many other people having too around Astro's Playroom and really embracing what is PlayStation. And, I think we talked about it in Gamescast last week, but it's that idea that I think for as much fun as you may have had with PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, which I did, the fact that they were just trying to copy Smash Brothers and not going that full extent and thinking that I think people's nostalgia hung on specific characters was a misstep. When in reality, as I think Astro shows us, PlayStation nostalgia hangs on PlayStation. And that's the experience from buying it in the package to rolling credits and popping the last trophy. Like, it is this idea that Astro had me marking out to get the PSP Go, to see the PSP Go in this thing, right? It had me freaking out, as I've made a million references to already, the little thing in Labo where you hit the wall, right? And it reveals Sony Computer Entertainment rather than Sony Interactive Entertainment, right? Like, PlayStation's nostalgia is so much bigger than individual characters. They're part of it, obviously. Obviously, you think of, Crash Bandicoot, you think of Solid Snake, you think of, the list goes on, Daniel Fortescue. They're part of this for sure, but I think the connective tissue of the consoles and the controllers and the UMDs and the weird ads and everything else, that's all part of it too. And so to see them understand that with Astro, to see them make that such a big part of it, I think then speaks to what you're talking about, right? Of this year of let's get weird again. Let's, Astro's out and we're going to let Sumo take Sackboy and not make Little Big Planet, instead make a platformer. And we're going to, go through and Dreams, like you said, has been out for a while, but it's going to officially be out now. You're going to continue to see Media Molecule do cool stuff with it and people run to it. You know what? I had a fucking banger of an idea last night that's way too late for anything to happen, but if I would have been on the inside, and we see COVID going the way it's going, right? Okay, cool. There's no live events, not going to happen. That's fine. We're launching the PlayStation 4. I would have lobbied so hard at PlayStation, and I would have hopefully come out and said with a big thing, hey, everybody, PSX is back in Dreams. Oh, and I would have worked with Media Molecule and had them do like we have the Dreams layout, and then you go to these different like demo booths and hopefully play the game if possible, but more likely just watch a trailer inside of Dreams or whatever, like figure out some PlayStation pre-order stuff there, have all the indies who are doing stuff, that's going to be out in 2021, have them come together, do it inside of Dreams, have like those Astro things there, have it like it was where, you're going through and getting your punch card done for all these things, put some exclusive trophies on it. So like it's DLC for Dreams and shit like that. Something like that could have been really cool. And granted, I know I'm talking about from, they're kind of embracing what they are and saying what they know what they are in terms of nostalgia. They're doing something weird again. Even that's 0 to 60. I'm talking about 0 to 200 right now of them going in and making PSX inside of Dreams. But what a cool way it would have been to get not only PlayStation people back together in a cool way where we could all hang out again, but also to get people to download Dreams and try Dreams again. Because I know I'm part of the problem, right? I haven't even downloaded Dreams in my PlayStation 5. I haven't turned on Dreams in quite some time.
Yeah, no, and I'm in the exact same place. I think me and you were both super into Dreams at launch, and then somewhere along the line, I think it was probably March when a bunch of different games came out.
I'm correct it right now. I'm downloading Dreams while we talk.
Yeah, I think I have it downloaded already, so I might actually jump into it later this week. But yeah, like that game came out. We played it for a few weeks, or I think that month, and then other games came out, and it was that game was difficult to go back to, right? Because
as you'd expect, right?
So much happening. But yeah, like games like that, Astrobot, I think for me, for what you're talking about with Dreams, right? Like Astrobot, for what it was, felt like a felt like the celebration, felt like the launch celebration for everybody, right? Because it is this packed in thing that's with the console, and then is also this celebration of PlayStation throughout the history. And it's a real cool thing. Kevin, I'm also hearing echo, by the way, while I'm talking. And it's throwing me off. I don't know, Astrobot is dope. Baby. Is it me that I'm hearing the echo?
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but if you click on your microphone, the third light should control if you hear your echo from your mic. Are you plugged in? I'm not
plugged into my mic. I'm plugged into my computer.
All right. I don't know. Greg, are you hearing an echo as well?
No.
Okay. Yeah, it's on you,
baby.
Okay.
That might be me. Actually, it's gone now, so I'm good. But yeah, like Astro is just this cool thing that overall I feel like added a lot of heart and a lot of personality to PlayStation that I feel like is missing, right? Like we've talked also about how in terms of like literal human personalities at the company, like the Sean Layden's and the Andrew Houses of the time that have been there and are now gone, right? The Adam Boyes,
sure.
It feels like all those are missing and haven't been replaced in any sort of sense. But like,
don't forget Jim Ryan's out there, and he has not heard anything. He has not heard a single peep that there's a storage problem on the PlayStation 5.
That's wild to me. I was listening to that episode and I was like, he couldn't have said that. And yeah, like sure enough.
God damn it, Jim Ryan.
But yeah, like Astrobot, I think is within all that, Astrobot has done such a good job of restoring a lot of life. Not that like there wasn't life before, because obviously like PlayStation is killing it in terms of games, but a lot of life and personality I think was brought to the table with Astrobot that I'm excited to see continue. Yeah.
For me, the first one that came to mind, and this is obviously jumping out from my PlayStation and my current play style, is just I know I kind of said it, I think, in the Miles Morales review, but to bring it to another level, just I'm so thankful for how Insomniac has nailed Spider-Man. And I don't mean just Spider-Man Remastered / 2018. I don't just mean Spider-Man Miles Morales. I mean the fact that they have built a universe. And I think that was so hard to see with one game, where when I first played through Spider-Man PS4 2018, and I think one of the knocks I even had about it was like, oh, it's a little too predictable. Oh, there's a little too much going on, right? Like, oh, there's the Sinister Six, then there's Mr. Negative, and then there's, the way they allude to Rhino, the Shocker pops up for 2 seconds and is kind of, there and gone kind of thing. I think to go, because right now what happened is, I beat Miles Morales, beat it again, platinumed it, started a new playthrough of Spider-Man Remastered. I was like, I'm going to platinum this. And my idea was I was playing through it all the way from scratch. I was going to platinum the main game, probably not touch the DLCs, and just be done with it, right? Over the weekend, Friday night, I think it was, they put out an update, maybe it was Saturday night, that, hey, we're pushing the patch live. So you can now go into your PlayStation 4 version of Spider-Man 2018. You can, inside of that, upload your save. Then you can quit out. You can go to your PlayStation 5 version of Spider-Man Remastered. You can download your save there and pick up where you left off. And on top of that, something that nobody else is doing, right? Borderlands does not pop all the trophies. What's the other game I'm playing that has a PlayStation 5? Assassin's Creed Valhalla doesn't pop all the PlayStation 5 trophies. When you open up your PS4 save on PS5, it gives you all the trophies you had. So
now, do you think that's on purpose?
Yeah,
because when I did it, I was like, wow, I can't believe this actually worked. This seems like
I guarantee that's on purpose. Really? That's, again, like, I mean, let's take a step back from how much Insomniac's nailed Spider-Man. I think let's talk then about how much Insomniac nails what a PlayStation fan is and what matters to us. And I know that I don't speak for all PlayStation fans about trophies. I know, Blessing, you don't give a shit about them, and that's totally fine. But I do think that there are so many of us that do care about trophies, that doing something like this is such a sign of we are paying attention. Because again, I love Borderlands 3, right? My save works and I can pick up with the PlayStation 5 version. Great. I turn it on and I start the game, and it doesn't pop all of them, but I jumped to one area of the game and it popped like the one for, oh, you've explored the whole game, and it went through a bunch of other ones, but not all of my trophies. So it's like, I think people miss what that actually means to them. I think, Assassin's Creed Valhalla misses the fact that, oh, this sucks that it's great that there's a free upgrade, and it's totally a have your cake and eat it too situation of like, oh, woe is me. I get this free upgrade for the game I already own, but I don't get the trophies I have. And meanwhile, Ubisoft's like, you can take your fucking save from PlayStation to Xbox to Stadia to, you know, like, what are you talking about? Like, shut up. And it's like, yeah, that's a good point. But like this one particular thing, I think Spider-Man was on purpose. And I think it was a great way to get people to do it and pay it forward that, hey, we're listening and want to give you this. And I was in this weird situation with it, right? Where I saw the news pop and I was like, fuck, you know, I've been playing this game and I was, again, from scratch, and I was having such a good time unlocking all the backpacks and unlocking all the Black Cat stuff and doing everything again. I was like, and I was doing it as it came up. I was like, shit, fuck, like, that's cool. I won't do it. I won't go and get the saves and bring them down and pop all the trophies again. I'll instead go through and earn it the hard way. But then I was like, well, wait a second. The way I've been playing it is when the side stuff pops up, I do all the side stuff before I move on. Like, it's been this really, compared to reviewing Spider-Man PS4, this really refreshing thing where there's no gun to my head, right? Like, this is an old game. I can take as much time to do it as I want to. I can do as much as or as little as I want to on a given night. And so I sat there and thought about, when we went and saw Into the Spider-Verse and came home, I immediately started up Spider-Man PS4 and got the Into the Spider-Verse suit for Peter B. Parker. And I might be playing fast and loose with dates there, but when I could get Peter B. Parker suit skin, I did. So I was like, I already have a New Game Plus. And so what I did is I downloaded my PlayStation 4 save, popped all the trophies. I already had 100% of the DLC trophies. I had all that. And then I was like, I loaded up the New Game Plus, and it turns out, storyline wise, I was only like 2 hours behind where I was with the save I'd been playing on PS5 already. And so, because you understand, since I was like delaying doing any story stuff until I did all the side activities, I hadn't made a lot of progress. So long story short, I have my PlayStation 4 New Game Plus on PlayStation 5 now, that I've now surpassed where I was with the PlayStation 5 normal playthrough, and I'm just going through the story on that. And then my plan is to knock out the new trophies for remastered. This will knock out my New Game Plus trophies, and I'll have 100%, not just a platinum anymore. What I'm saying in a very, 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 very long-winded way is, when I reviewed Miles Morales, I talked about how this continued and expanded the universe. But going back to Spider-Man 2018 and playing that again, and seeing not only the shocker pop up for a little bit, but then the hints to what they were going to do in the DLC and the way they were teasing that out during the main campaign and knowing where that's going, you suddenly start to get this picture when you step back of Spider-Man 2018, the 3 DLCs, and Miles Morales, and how none of them feel like a sequel, as we just talked about. You talk about 1.5 for Miles Morales, right? But none of them leave me wanting for 2 either. And it's not a games as service thing where, you know, you're subscribed for a subscription, or you're signed up for a subscription, so you feel like you're not getting your money's worth, or there was a delay or whatever. This feels like this giant Spider-Man universe they've made that I have so many connections to that I didn't even think about. And I talked about this in the Miles Morales review. No spoilers, but like Gloria from the first game pops up again, right? And to see, and she's just an NPC, to see where she is versus where she is when I met her in Remastered, when I was playing that brand new save. It's like, holy fuck, like, I didn't even realize I was making these inroads with these people. I didn't even realize I was making it to, you know, have rolled credits on Miles Morales and platinumed it, and then come back and redo it to meet Miles's dad in Spider-Man PS4 for the first time, right? It means so much more now that not only do I know where his story goes in Remastered, I also know where his son goes in the next game. It's like, it's this crazy thing of, I think when I played Spider-Man in 2018 all by itself, it was like, oh man, this is a really good Spider-Man game. A lot going on, a lot of bloat, and there still is, obviously, where like last night I had one of those moments where it was like a Mary Jane mission. I was like, fuck. Right, God, it's going to take all of 7 minutes to do this, but it's like, oh man, I was having fun swinging around doing this. I want to keep being Spider-Man. It's still there, but they've put so much TLC into that world and so many connections on the smallest of scale. And to even think about like some of the Easter eggs that I won't spoil in Miles Morales, I think it's incredible.
Yeah. No, I think that's super awesome. Like, I think I'm thankful for the fact that Spider-Man is back in video game form, just period. Because I know Spider-Man technically never went anywhere, because there have been Spider-Man games since the PS2 games. But like, for me as a kid, playing Spider-Man 2 on PS2 and Spider-Man 1, the movie one, and I guess the Spider-Man PS1 game, like playing all those back in the day really built this connection for me and the character. And like Spider-Man 2 in particular was the one that I think for all of us, right, made us go, oh snap, like this is what a Spider-Man game can be, where I'm swinging around the city fighting crime. And like we make fun of like the balloon thing, right, which was like probably happened once every like hour or so, but beyond that, right, like was such a cool experience. The way in which they they captured that in 2018 and went above and beyond in terms of, hey, this is an open world New York that you're swinging across, that you're fighting crime. This is the Peter Parker that we own. We're able to make this story our own. Same with Miles Morales. I think is expertly done. I don't think there's a thing they could have done in terms of this current Spider-Man franchise to make it any better. Like I really think they've hit the peak with it, and so also very thankful.
And that's what's so cool about it when we sit there and we name off all these different Spider-Man games, whether it's the movie ones, right? Whether it is Neversoft, whether it's Ultimate or something like that. The idea that, and I don't think I'm being facetious, right? What, for the next, I would say 10 years, but maybe just 5, we're going to continue to get adventures with Spider-Man in this universe for sure. Like, I don't think they stop at Spider-Man 2 or whatever they end up calling it. I think they will continue to evolve, let alone when, off the success of Miles, the call I've heard on Twitter and from our audience and from just the audience for Spider-Man in general for a Gwen game, like you can totally see this start spiraling off in different directions, right? If they really do get into this, I think it's, I'm struggling, I guess, to put into words how much this month with Spider-Man again has really not reinvigorated, but awakened me to the fact that this might be like my Spider-Man universe, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I grew up reading the McFarlane run of Spider-Man, which got me in there, and I loved all that. And I was really, angry when they blinked Mary Jane and Peter's marriage out of existence. But I wasn't still reading the comics when that had happened, right? I had grown up, I had changed, I had evolved. I was broke in college. I wasn't buying comic books. And Tom Holland, the movies are great, but I'm speaking out of turn here, I guess, but like, what if we added up all the hours he's been on screen as Spider-Man and like Civil War, the 2 event, like what you're looking at maybe 10, Kevin? Is that outrageous? Because you figure it'd be, well, I guess if we're just doing screen time, it's a different story than if I was adding on the movies. That. Well, it's for sure is 2 standalone Spider-Man movies.
Less than that, but like, two standalone Spider-Man movies and 2.
I was including movies. The 2 Avengers. I was including Civil War.
Yes, Civil War. So that'd be 5 movies. Yeah.
Yeah, but like if we're screen time, it's way less than that, right? And it's awesome, and I can't wait for more of it. But how many more movies does he have in him? Whereas, like with this in this universe, like this feels as real, if not more, to me, as like the animated series, right? Where like you remember how it was to watch, or you don't remember that, the one I'm talking about, right? When I was being a kid when it was happening, Spider-Man.
It was like, amazing.
And remember how crazy it was to see them do the black suit and see them do Venom and see it all grow and evolve and stuff like that. Like, we still weren't with Peter all the time. Like playing through Remastered again and having some of the side missions I'd forgotten about, having him be like, oh man, I haven't slept since I fought the Kingpin. I should really get some rest. Like, oh, fuck, you haven't. And then you get there and it's like, he's evicted. It's like, oh, right, he got evicted. I forgot all about this mission. Like, I don't know.
Funny though that you say that.
No, please go.
I was just, it is funny to say that because like he isn't the same Spider-Man from before, the PlayStation 4, right? The remaster's a different face. So I just think that note is funny because like, Tom, how many more movies is Tom Holland gonna do? Who knows? But like they already did that with the game, I just think it's so funny.
It's not disappointing. It's just weird because then it's constantly when I'm playing it right now and like there's a cutscene where it's like that thing of like, this looks weird, but does it look weird because I remember the old face, or does it look weird because this face doesn't match this universe? And I can't figure it out. You know what I mean? Because it's not like glaring and horrible, but I'd love to see if you had never played as the other Spider-Man if you knew what it was when you jumped into this.
Yeah, I either got to replay Remastered or like fingers crossed I'll get used to when I played Spider-Man 2 because every time I look at that face I'm like, you're not my guy. Where's my dude? Yeah, like it feels weird whenever I see the new Spider-Man face. Like, again, I'm with you. It's not bad. I'm like off-put by it, but like in a way that I'm gonna get used to it. Like I'm
totally, yeah. By the time we actually get in 2 years when we get the next installment of whatever Spider-Man's gonna be, I don't think
we're like, okay, whatever.
Real quick though, before we go, did you pop them trophies?
I did pop the trophies, yeah.
You did.
I downloaded Spider-Man PS4 version, logged into it, uploaded my save, switched to Remastered, downloaded the save, popped all the trophies, and then turned off the game. Sure. Well, that was it. I was like, cool, I did it. And like it felt kind of dirty because I felt like I turned into Greg Miller where I was just in it just for the trophies. But it did remind me that I'm still only halfway through the DLC. And so I'm thinking about popping back in and finishing that.
I mean, like that's the thing of I am literally this month gorging on Spider-Man content, right? Where got Miles, beat Miles, played it again, platinumed it, went into remastered, played a whole bunch. Now, whatever, got these trophies. I did the new Game Plus, played through 2 hours, which is unheard of for something I just played again to catch up to where I am. Now I'm going through, and do you know what I fucking did this morning?
Oh no. What's that?
I downloaded Miles Morales PS4 so that when I beat this, I can play through it on PS4 and platinum it there.
Ridiculous.
Thwips. Also, Blessing, I'm going to need you to turn on your PlayStation 5 and unprivatize your trophies. I can't look at your trophies, and I don't like that.
Are they not unprivatized?
Yeah, no, I'm looking at psnprofiles.com right now, and they're not. Merc City 64 still has it all locked up.
All right, let me see what I can do.
What's your secrets, man? Like, what do you got locked up?
What are you so afraid of? What are you playing in there?
I'm playing God of War 2.
Oh my God, for reals?
I wish. God, I wish. I can't wait for God of War 2. I was thinking about that earlier today. I was like, that game's gonna exist at some point. You know, like we're gonna have that game. And like I booted up God of War 2018. Man, I feel like every good game came out in 2018 apparently. I booted up God of War 2018 just to see like what the PS5 improvements were, because I remember reading the article that was like, oh yeah, they've taken advantage of the DualSense, which I don't think is true. Like when I played some of God of War, I was like, there's nothing going on with my DualSense that wasn't happening with my DualShock. But like, yeah, the more I got into like a combat sequence, and I was like, yeah, I can't wait for the PS5 version of God of War Ragnarok. Like that's gonna be great. It's gonna be intense. Also, I can't turn on my PS4 5 right now because my Switch is plugged into the monitor, and
that's fine. I'll allow it. I'm just saying I want to see your trophies at some point.
I'll consider it.
Thank you. That's all I can ask for.
He got out of showing them. That's interesting.
There's nothing interesting in my trophies is the thing.
I mean,
you can see what games
I'm just gonna say you sound a lot like Donald Trump and his taxes. That's all I'm saying.
Blessing, you know that I wouldn't let Kevin throw that insult around willy-nilly, and he didn't. You sound a lot like Donald Trump and his taxes right now.
But like the thing with Donald Trump is that he was being shady with his taxes. I'm being upfront about my trophies.
But here's the thing. He was saying that he wasn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like, what do I have to hide with my trophies?
Bless.
You tell us.
Bless.
You tell us. You let us look.
You're scaring me right now.
What do I have? I can't commit trophy fraud. You know, like I can't.
If there was a way, I would have done it by now. Don't worry about that.
If there was one person between the two of us that's going to commit trophy fraud, it'd definitely be Greg Miller. Can I talk about who else I'm excited for, or not excited for? Thankful for? Yeah, for my thankfuls. I'm thankful for a Blue Point Studio. They do a fantastic job. Like Demon's Souls isn't necessarily my type of. I won't even say my type of game. Demon's Souls is just a thing I'm not dived into yet, just because it's very daunting.
You're scared, just like your trophies.
I'm terrified. Yes, I have a lot of things that I'm hiding in those trophies, including my progress in Demon's Souls.
Sure. Fair.
But even outside of that, right? Just their skill as a studio in general. I walked into the living room last week to my roommate playing Demon's Souls on his big, beautiful 4K TV, and I couldn't believe how good that thing looked. Like it looked phenomenal on his TV in a way that I was like, I can't believe a video game looks this good. And between game. It is stunning. Between Shadow of Colossus and like their work before, I think they're just underrated as a. I know Sony doesn't own them, but as a PlayStation Alliance studio, like they are fantastic at what they do, and I think they deserve a lot more credit.
You think they're about to get it, right? You saw the rumor a couple weeks ago, yet again, that Sony was getting ready to buy them, I assume, right?
Yeah, I saw the rumor, and I believe it, not even because I think there's anything necessarily credible in the rumor, just because like, why not? If you're Sony, why not buy Blue Point when they do such great work?
Sure. Yeah. Have them on hand before somebody scoops them up and does something else with them, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't let them get supermassive or Quantic Dreamed, I guess.
This was the interesting weekend, I feel, at least for our industry peers that I follow, where it seemed like everyone was playing Demon's Souls. Everybody's tweets were about it and re-rolling their class and coming back in and taking it from a different angle and doing these different things with it. And it's like, that's awesome to see that people are that attached to that game. You know what I mean? Especially for it to be a remake, to especially see it be a Blue Point killing it again and see, this console launch cycle right now, who's going to get into it for the first time? Because obviously Souls games historically such a, very specific taste.
Yeah. Yeah. If I didn't have many other games to play, I probably would put more effort in trying to playing it. But like, it's Yakuza is speaking my language right now. Like I'm digging that game so much, and then like there are other games on the horizon that are, no pun intended, that are coming through. Yeah. Not Horizon.
No, well, I mean, that's the thing right now. We're very much in this interesting biding your time for Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
It's like,
and Immortals Phoenix Rising.
And who?
Immortals Phoenix Rising.
Ah, yes.
You're not playing that one?
I'm going to, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, no, I'm excited for that as well. Yeah, it's weird to be on the other side of the launch of this and still have Immortals, still have Cyberpunk. You know what I mean? To still have these games that are right there that we're gonna have to play. So that's why it's, it's funny. I was thinking back to the conversation you and I had in the run up to launch, where I was like, oh yeah, and I want a platinum Spider-Man remastered. You're like, when you were like, where are you gonna find the time? Like, there's all this stuff out there, and yada yada yada. And now that we're here, there's just something so. There's something so I struggle for the name. It's like so intoxicating to play that game that I can't stop. Because I've done for a couple of weeks there. I was doing I'm spinning so many plates. I'm doing Assassins. I'm doing Sackboy. I'm doing one of the other games. Oh wait, hold on, Jen.
Godfall.
Come over here. Blessing has a bunch of French questions for you. Yeah.
Oh man, I forget the question already.
Au gratin.
Hi, what's up?
So hey, first of all, Jen, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So my question is, are you familiar with Au Rotten Tomatoes?
Odd Rotten Tomatoes?
That's the same thing I said.
Is that a combination of words you just said?
So, okay.
Potatoes,
yeah. Au Rotten. So, okay, that's like the English pronunciation of it. I'm sure there's a better French pronunciation. That's what I want to ask you. AU space GRATIN.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're trying to say. It's the most butchered word in America.
You're being really mean. Just so you know.
She's right, though.
It's pronounced au gratin.
Thank you.
Gratin.
Thank you. That's what I said. Au gratin.
You're right.
I was exactly right.
You just sound like you're saying some kind of augmented, like Deus Ex, like Aug Rotten.
Aug Rotten.
What are you? Yeah, no, I don't like that.
They said I had no idea what they were talking about.
Well, you were right.
Jen, we laughed at him a lot.
Yeah, no, they made fun of me.
It got rude.
Okay. Well, you guys suck, I guess.
Thank you so much, Jen. I appreciate it.
No, thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Gregory Miller.
How's it feeling though? Au gratin potatoes.
How's it feeling to know I was exactly right about the pronunciation, the French pronunciation?
Did you say tomatoes? Is that how you
Did I say tomato, Kevin?
What?
Kevin, did I say tomato?
When did you say
or did
tomatoes?
I say potato?
Potato.
When I asked, okay, did I say potatoes or tomatoes when I asked Jen?
No, there's a lot of information being thrown.
It was a lot of information. I'm drinking an Angry Orchard.
Anyway, so where I left off, it's the fact that, yeah, there's other things to play, but when I'm playing them, I'm feeling the draw to go back to Spider-Man, right? And
is it just the comfort food of it? Like, after you
I mean, it's not even the comfort food of it. I think it is the fact that it's 2 years later, and well, I guess even more than that, right? 2 years plus, and the things I've forgotten about it, and like, because it is, how many games have we played since then? And sure, like, I think when we talk about Spider-Man, you talk about the ending of it, you talk about the big turns of it, but these moments that I don't remember, right? I had forgotten about like the scene where he goes, Peter Parker, to cook for Mary Jane and stuff like that. Like the little character beats that got lost there. And I think coming off of Miles and having him right there, it's been, I'd like to get back to Demon's Souls, but even when I was playing Demon's Souls, I was thinking, man, this is a lot like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I put 35 hours into, right? And then it was that thing of like, I'm digging this, I really like this game, but I feel I like the Spider-Man story more. I want more of what I had with Miles, so I'm going to go hit up Remastered and do that and run through that. But then again, like here we are biding our time and killing time until here it comes, Assassin's or Cyberpunk down the line.
And also, I think you have the right idea in terms of like the biding time kind of thing, because even for me, right now, being now 4 chapters into Yakuza and also starting up Hyrule Warriors last night, and then also playing a little bit of No More Heroes, I'm like, I'm gonna have to put all this stuff down.
Yep.
Like in like a week or so, right?
Yeah,
like in order to play Cyberpunk. Part.
Yeah.
And so Spider-Man might even be the way better call.
That's what I do around here. Next one I want to give a shout out to is psnprofiles.com. I think we use this site all the time as far as what I'm thankful for in 2020 PlayStation. I've been using PSNprofiles.com, not sponsored by the way, for years, obviously, to track trophies and track my progress and see stuff. But I feel like this year more than ever, I've been using it more than ever, both for the show where we go and judge your profiles here at the end, but with this new goddamn clunky ass PlayStation trophy system of like, all right, cool. You want to look on the PlayStation 5 or what you've gone into, or what trophies list looks like, to go in there and then, all right, cool. It's all laid out horizontally. All right, sort by what I haven't earned. All right, here's the ones you haven't earned at the top. All right, the text is running off the screen. So to click in to look at it, like, it's just so much easier, I feel, to go to psnprofiles.com, be logged in, have everything sunk, and it shows you what you have and what you don't have. And you can just see at a glance where you're going, what's happening. To the point that I tweeted about it the other day, about when I was still playing through Spider-Man Remastered, from the start without the save. And so I was popping new trophies. I tweeted a screenshot of the trophy list and I was like, hey, shout out to this game that, I'm re-addicted to and can't get away from. So many people from our industry hit me up and like, what site is this? Because it's just so clean and functional and gets what you need from it, of where to go and how to get this trophy and see the hidden stuff. So shout out to psnprofiles.com as always.
Shout out to them. Speaking of websites, I want to say I'm thankful for Push Square, because they do a very, Push Square, of course, if you're unfamiliar, you should be. They do PlayStation coverage in website form. And so them, also I want to give a shout out while I'm at it to PlayStation Lifestyle at the same time, because they do the same thing. But I get so many of the X's and O's from them. Like, they do a good roundup of the PlayStation games that are coming out week to week, but then also covering PlayStation news, and they make me doing my job for this show easier. And so I'm thankful for them. Shout outs.
Shout out to them in general. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be on top of that. I'm glad that you're giving them credit where credit is due. Speaking of credit where credit is due, Greg Way, Nick writes in to patreon.com/kindafunnygames, just like you can, and says, I'm thankful for Wario64 on Twitter. I've been following him for years, and he's always had the scoop on gaming deals. He's recently surged in popularity for the Series X/X, S/X, I screwed that up, and PS5 pre-orders. But as a result, people are spamming him with spiteful and vitriolic comments when he posts about anything other than PS5 order availability. I just wanted to voice my appreciation for Wario64, and in the spirit of the late Jason Hales, hope we can get a wave of hashtag PS we love you XOXO for Wario. Indeed, Wario's been killing it. You know what I mean? Again, a service, if you will, that we've all used for years or paid attention to for years. But obviously right now, in the throes of people still trying to get their PlayStation 5, incredibly helpful resource right out there.
Shout out.
Shout out indeed. What do I have on my list here? Where do I want to go next? I'm thankful for in the world of PlayStation 2020 edition. I'm thankful for Sucker Punch. Again, a developer that I have adored, for me personally, since Infamous. I kind of missed Sly Cooper. It was never really my thing growing up or whatever. I always thought it looked cool, but never actually tried it till years later. But obviously, when I'm the PlayStation guy covering PlayStation for IGN, and all of a sudden they're like, and that we're doing an original from the ground up superhero game, you knew I was going to get into it. And as much as I adore Infamous and think, those first two games are so good and Cole's story is so cool, like, I felt as Naughty Dog's star continued to rise, right, as they got brighter and brighter and brighter and more beloved in the industry, it was that race to see how the other first parties could keep up and if they could evolve the same way. And I think, for sure, God of War saw Sony Santa Monica go to another level. And again, all these studios are great. Sony Santa Monica had been doing great games before God of War but what God of War is compared to previous God of Wars, right? It put Sony Santa Monica on a different level. When you look at Guerrilla Games and you say Horizon, right? After making Killzone after Killzone after Killzone and having people start rolling their eyes at Killzone, for them to come out and be like, here's Horizon, here's something completely different from us, let's go. That was awesome. And so then for Sucker Punch to come out and be like, we're making this samurai game, and for us to all know so little about it for so long and have it start to get into this thing of like, oh, it's going to be overshadowed by Last of Us Part 2. It's, they can't get away from it as they try to release this game. We'll all have to wait and see how this goes. To see how great Ghost of Tsushima was as a single player original launch, what the title was at launch, is amazing and awesome and great. And to see them rise to that level, to then see Legends be followed up. And in the same way of like Infamous Festival of Blood, something unexpected and something cool for their fans, to see Ghost of Tsushima Legends come out and be adored and have it be exactly what people wanted it to be, and not have it be, oh man, it would have been cool if they did this, that, or the other, or have everybody hanging on, waiting for more content to come, to have it be this event that really came out and dominated for what, a month and a half of like your attention blessing, but that's all it needed to be. And I think really for a lot of people come in and not cement it by any stretch of the imagination, but definitely cement it in their top 5, definitely make it into that conversation for game of the year. I think it's incredibly impressive. I'm impressive, and I'm incredibly thankful for them and what they've done.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Like the growth from Infamous to Ghost of Tsushima, I think is incredible. And it's so you can point to other PlayStation studios that had that same thing, right? You mentioned Killzone to Horizon and Sony Santa Monica with God of War, and like I think you can go down that list further. But yeah, the Ghost of Tsushima as a game, yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head in terms of how Legends really uplifted that title and really like pushed it beyond what it already was, which for me, the original Ghost of Tsushima, was awesome. Like I really liked it. But for me, I kind of read it as like a cool, it's an open world game, samurai game with a cool story and characters that I like. And like, I think it was already probably in my top 10, but the addition of Legends really cemented it as like oh no, this is now one of my favorite games of the year by far. Like it is fantastic. Like there are screenshots that I'm holding on to that I wanted to tweet after doing the raid that like were a little bit spoilerish, but were so visually just like fantastic, visually incredible, because they did the lengths they went through with Legends and making it dynamically different from the single player, but also feel like I had as much love put into it as a single player, I think is very impressive. And yeah, no, like shout out to them. On the same note, I want to also give a shout out to Insomniac, which we've kind of already shouted out via Spider-Man, but just that studio.
Take it. Ted Price is still listening. He's like, yes, keep giving another shout.
That studio in general, like I think I came to the realization this year that Insomniac is probably my favorite PlayStation studio. Yeah, like they make very good games, and they make games that I look forward to in terms of what they are. Like mechanically, I think the way in which you move in an Insomniac game and how animated they are and how colorful they are and how fun they are, like I think speaks volumes. Like they between Ratchet and Clank and Spider-Man, right? Like those are two very good franchises, and they're able to churn them out on a regular basis, unlike any other PlayStation studio. Like they're putting out Miles Morales this year, right? Like this month, and in a couple of months are about to put out Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. And those are, hopefully, fingers crossed, that Ratchet and Clank is a banger. Those will be two very good games, right? Like two bangers. And so shout out to them also.
Hell yeah. What else you got?
I want to shout out. This is an interesting one. I want to shout out Eric Monicelli. Yesterday, I put out a tweet talking about how there's an artist named Lecrae who had a song in Miles Morales, and Lecrae is a rapper that I've listened to pretty much all my life. Like he was very big in like, I remember being in like church youth group, and his whole thing was he puts out like clean rap or whatever. Okay. And like as a kid, I would listen to Lecrae because I was allowed to listen to Lecrae, and they put him on in youth group and whatever. But like to put on Miles Morales and reach the credits and then to hear a Lecrae song kind of blew my mind, because one, it was a blast from the past, and then two, also like Lecrae is this rapper that doesn't get enough credit for somewhat being corny for like the clean rap, but then also at the same time, I think he does a very good job with it and is very talented. It doesn't get enough love. When I tweeted out about being wowed by a Lecrae song closing out the game, Eric then replied to that tweet saying, that makes me happy to hear. Getting his music into the game and on the soundtrack was very important to me. And Eric is a director of production at Marvel Games. And I want to shout out Eric, and more so have it be like a larger thing of shout out to like the developers that are able to put their own personality and like put those fights out there for their own work, right? Like really go the extra mile in terms of making something your own and putting in the work and making some like caring about a product. I think is essentially what I'm coming down on, right? Sure. So shout out to Eric for that.
Well, no, I think that's a great point and a great reference. I mean, I've known Eric for years and years. Eric used to work at Naughty Dog as well. And so for him to show up on the Marvels team has been fantastic, but it's what you're talking about again, where, I swear I will stop just talking about Insomniac here in a second, but like how Insomniac's nailing it, right? Like Eric's dog is graffiti in Insomniac's Miles Morales. Like you can go find Eric's dog. He's been tweeting out. He waited for people to find the Easter egg, and now you can go find it and pose with it and put up a screenshot of it, right? And while maybe that sounds navel gazy, I guess in terms of it, in reality, what it is I think again you're talking about Insomniac, but then the Marvel Games team and the way these two groups pour their heart and souls into these games and really go out to crush it and make it something special, whether that be Eric's dog, whether it be shirtless Spider-Man, whether it be Stan Lee or the memorial to him in Miles Morales, whether it be the Chadwick Boseman things in Miles Morales in terms of memorials there too. Like you're talking about a bunch of people who make games not to make money but to make art and to do it right. And honestly, one of the things I had on my list here of what I'm thankful for is Marvel Games. And again, we talked about at the top with ethics and everything else. If you're this far into the show, I'm sure you trust my opinion of it. But remember, of course, like I've hosted Marvel Games' panels before, and like I know Eric and I know Bill over there and stuff like that. I think again, it hasn't been lost on me over here, I guess. Where I used to talk about when I talk about video games, I would talk about how what's so powerful about video games right now, and this is back when I was talking about it years ago even, but what's so powerful about it is that it's now whatever mood you're in, there's a game for, which sounds silly, but when I always talk about like, old people who don't get games, they think they're just a waste of time. They think they're for kids. They're thinking of NES. They're thinking of it as a toy. Whereas now, right, there are games for you. It's similar to movies, right? In terms of going to the movie means then you get into your genre, then you get into it, right? Whereas like there's games that can make you cry. There's games that can make you laugh. There's games that are just power fantasies. There's games that are just toys, that are just games, and you're just doing one thing. It's crazy to me, and I noticed this, I think, last week, but on the PlayStation 5, right, I'm sitting there and I'm playing Spider-Man, and I was like, all right, I've kind of stopped. I think it was that, all right, I'm playing Spider-Man, I'm enjoying myself. Then you and Barrett hit up Slack. You're like, who wants to play Fortnite? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to play Fortnite. So I swing over to Fortnite from being Spider-Man, no pun intended, and I start playing as Captain America, and I have Mjolnir, and I'm using that as my battle axe, and I'm smashing that, right? Or I just got the Venom thing on Friday night when we were all playing after the weekly meeting. And the fact that the same attention to detail and love that makes Spider-Man there, and I think does define what Marvel Games as a label is in the Fortnite thing. When you go play Fortnite and you see all the stuff that went in there and all the cool Marvel Easter eggs that are there, and the way the Battle Pass is this treasure trove of amazing Marvel references for you to run through and play. And I know we're going to talk about this later when we get to what we've been playing. I know this is a Greg thing, but then to be like, all right, cool, you guys signed off, and I was like, cool. I don't feel like committing to Marvel or to Spider-Man right now and doing something that hard. I wanted to listen to a podcast or an interview. I was like, oh, you know what? Booted up Marvel's Avengers. I'm working on a trophy over there that I'm going to bitch about, but I'm working on. And I went and played that. And, for all the problems that, Marvel, where's new content? There's nothing. Remember, my thing says I put I've put 130 hours into Marvel's Avengers, right? So like, I enjoy the experience and I enjoy playing with my friends, and I know that's a whole different ball of wax, but again, for what that is, let alone that this year also was Iron Man VR, which far from a perfect experience still made me fucking feel like I was in the Iron Man suit when I was up there and I was shooting stuff. And I need to still go back and get, now that I've got my adapter for my PlayStation VR, go back and get the platinum in it. But Marvel Games had a hell of a year for PlayStation that as a comic book dork, as somebody who just has my power fantasy is to be a superhero. And so to the fact that there are right there 4 games, they gave it to me all in very different ways. Hats off to them.
Yeah. Shout out to that.
What else you got?
I am thankful for the DualSense. I am in love with this controller. Why is it on? Oh, because I turned my PS4 on or PS5 on. I'm still shocked by how much of an upgrade I feel like this controller is over the PS4 controller. Like shout out to the haptics, shout out to the adapter triggers, all the things that we've talked about. I'm very much looking forward to like the next generation with this thing. And I really like when companies go hard in terms of trying to innovate on a thing, right? Like I think there are definitely times to be iterative, and there are definitely times where it's like, hey, what works, and we do not want to fix what's broken. I probably would have said that about the DualShock 4. Like I think the DualShock 4 is fine. Like it's a good controller, and I never really had any complaints with it aside from the battery life, which is pretty comparable to how the PS5 DualSense is. That said, like all the innovations that they made with the DualSense, I think hit, and I'm glad they took the leap, like, because this is a thing that they didn't need to do as a company, like try and reinvent the wheel in any sort of way. But the fact that they did, and the fact that they're able to nail it, I am very thankful for.
And then, to round out our picks, I guess, for things we're thankful for, Shuhei Yoshida. You know what I mean? There it is. Round of applause. What did Shu do this year? He was just Shu. That's all that matters.
Yeah, he just existed.
He was out there making your life better.
I'm sure Twitter, he did things, but
changing Twitter profile pics and background banners to whatever indie was coming to PlayStation next. He's just Shu. You can't not love Shu. It's this sure. is. I mean, obviously, this is the stupidest thing. I was like, this is the longest I think I've gone without seeing Shu. This is the longest we've all gone without seeing probably our families or anything else too. But it's one of those things of like, it's weird not to have had a E3 run-in or an interview or a dinner somewhere with Shu this year. So I'm always thankful for the one and only Shuhei Yoshida when you talk about PlayStation, no matter what year it is. Let's get into more of what you are thankful for, ladies and gentlemen. I asked you today on Twitter to write in to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames with what you are thankful for. So many of you did because you're all amazing. I like this one from Slacks. Those sweet PlayStation 5 load times. Period. That was all Slacks put in. A lot of people put in paragraphs and stories and everything else. Slacks is just like, I'm thankful for the PlayStation 5 load times. And Slacks, I am thankful for that as well.
Same.
Yes.
Very quick.
Still not lost on me when I'm like, oh man, I got to quit out. Like doing the Spider-Man thing, right? Where it was, okay, cool. Download Spider-Man PS4 to go in and get my save, then upload it. I was like, oh man, this is all still really quick. It downloads so quick. I get in so quick to get everything out. I'm very, very thankful for that.
It's very noticeable too on, I know Yakuza Lucky Dragon is, in terms of next gen, is on Xbox, not PlayStation. Yeah. But it is very noticeable. It is coming to PlayStation, so you guys will experience this soon enough. But playing on Xbox Series X, there's not enough time to read the tips. Like there are tips in the load screen, and I don't understand why they're there because it's like 2 seconds to load in Yakuza, and it's like 4 lines of tips, and I'm like, why would you guys even try? And I guess it's for the previous
the other versions, right? Yeah, it's the same way with Spider-Man. When you go into your settings or whatever, like you can turn on the subway transitions if you want, because the loads are instantaneous when you fast travel, and it used to be they'd cover the load with Spider-Man on the subway. And so it's off by default, but if you want, you can go turn them back on just so you can see all these animations that so many people put work into in 2018. It's fun.
That's awesome.
Rando wrote into patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, just like you can, and says, what I'm thankful for this year is video games and family. During these Corona times, my parents lost their jobs, so I moved in with them to help pay bills and for me to be with other people while in lockdown. My dad is very sick with emphysema and needs to exercise daily to improve his breathing. When his exercise bike broke, he had nothing. So I introduced him to Beat Saber on PSVR. I set up my base PS4 in our back room, and he was ranting about how he's never liked video games and how it was a waste of time. But he got hooked and Beat Saber, just the opening I needed. I ended up getting both my parents into Fall Guys to the point where they play it far more than I ever did. I got my mom playing Bug Snacks with me through remote play, parentheses, my PS5 is in my room. But the best part is I introduced my dad to my favorite video game of all time, The Witcher 3, and he played it daily for 3 weeks straight until he beat it in all of its DLC, while I coached him through playing my Switch alongside of him. Now, my dad has started playing Persona 5 Royal. He's a big anime dweeb, and I still can't believe it, given his initial disdain that he's gotten. Given his initial disdain, Greg's adding, about video games, that he's so hooked. It was a rough ending, but you understood where we were going with that from Rando. That's very sweet.
That's awesome.
That's a good one, to be thankful for. I'm glad to see so many people getting turned on. Obviously, turned on to video games. Turned on in general. I'm happy getting turned on. Rando, I hope your parents are getting turned on still. But for video games, like for what juggernaut sales there were this year in terms of obviously the Switch, and then as Jim Ryan told you, every PlayStation 5 on the planet is sold out right now. Like the fact that people were able to understand the importance of video games, I think, and jump into them during this pandemic was great. Solid thing.
And the fact that they've been like a comforting factor for a lot of people during this time, I think is such a cool and needed thing.
Let me give you 2 more before we transition out of here. All right. Number 1's Wesley LeBlanc. Wesley writes in to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, just like you can. It says, so I have plenty of answers ranging from The Last of Us Part 2 to the PS5 and more. But the thing I'm especially thankful for right now is how lightning fast capturing screenshots and videos is on the PlayStation 5. As a guides writer, I'm capturing hundreds and hundreds of screenshots and dozens of videos. On PlayStation 4, it was a struggle. You would hold down the capture button, wait like 7 seconds for it to capture, and then hope that the lag between pressing the button and getting the capture notification didn't miss capturing what you actually needed to capture. On PlayStation 5, it's like maybe 2 seconds to capture an image, and I can press the PlayStation button and scroll to the right to see the screenshot immediately to ensure it's good. I'm just very happy with the speed and efficiency of this new console. Here. Another one I do love. I've been screenshotting and doing a lot of photo mode stuff. Still wish PlayStation, if you're listening, Jim Ryan, I know you heard me about the storage stuff. Hopefully you heard me about how all my trophies organized. What I'm talking about here, though, still wish that it did what the Xbox does and just share it to the app automatically.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that I could save it from the app and put up my own tweet with it. I think today it was getting passed around. Yeah, Nick Chester from Epic, I think, was complaining about how stupid it is that you can't do anything with it. And so many people are coming up with the different workarounds they have for it. And like to read that is like, oh my God, what a horrible user experience, where it's like people have dummy Twitter accounts set up just to go there. Andrea Renee was talking about she just uses a long dead PSN conversation with her husband that she just sends screenshots to so she can open the app and do it that way.
Oh, that's smart. I didn't think about that.
I'll make it if you want. Cool. You and I can make a dummy group that's just like screenshots. So we just never talk in it, but we just get our screenshots out of it.
I might do that. If I make a random group with you on PSN, that's probably what's happening. If you get that notification.
Makes sense to me. Makes sense. The verb is working.
It's working.
Final one before we transition out of what we're thankful for. Benjamin Berry writes into patreon.com/kindoffunnygames and says, I'm thankful for the continued focus on high quality single player narrative games, the PlayStation Plus collection, and backwards compatibility on PS5. The reason is I can enjoy these games on my schedule. My wife and I just had our third kid in September. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And I've completely changed the way I game the past 5 years since the first kid was born. I cannot keep up grinding levels in games like Destiny. I cannot get good at any multiplayer shooter. And what I can do is fully enjoy single player games on my time. Old game is not old when I haven't played it yet. They are new to me whenever I get them, and I get just as much enjoyment or even more out of them than everyone else did when they were released. For these types of games on PlayStation, 2020 new releases are amazing. PlayStation Plus Collection gives me access to the best on PS4, and backwards compatibility ensures that any others I missed, I can catch up with as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was a hater of PS Plus Collection when they first announced it because I wanted a Game Pass. But now that we're past that, and now that I look at it sitting on my PS5, I'm like, what a cool package! Like just 20 games, 20 or so games that like people can access from the generation if they missed them, and like they're all good games for the most part. Like it's a really good selection.
One of our friends, she bought one of my PlayStation 5 pre-orders that we no longer needed since everybody at Kind of Funny was taken care of, and it's for her little brother. And she was like, cool, what do I need to get him with this? And I was like, all right, well, here's the launch games, but I'm like, honestly, get him PlayStation Plus. And I explained like what the collection was because he missed this entire generation, even Xbox stuff. I was like, just do that, jump in there, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna have a good time. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking of a good time, let's hear from our sponsor. This episode of PS I Love You XOXO is brought to you by What the Golf. It's snow time, and it's available exclusively on Apple Arcade. If you don't know What the Golf, I don't know where you've been. What the Golf, of course, is a sensational video game. What has got it? It won Best Mobile Game at IGN's Game Awards 2019. It won Best Mobile Game at Game Developers Choice Awards 2020. And of course, it was at Game Awards. It got nominated there. And I had to talk these people out. The developers, Tri-Band, we were on the red carpet and they were trying to decide if it was a good idea to drop a bunch of golf balls on the red carpet. So everybody would stumble around these What the Golf balls. And I said no. So they kept the golf balls and then rolled them down one by one in the auditorium. I'm sorry, Jeff Keighley. But beyond that, What the Golf is a super fun game. It's not even a real golf game. Like you start off putting and hitting the ball, but then all of a sudden you go to putt and your character flies. Then you're hitting cars. Then you're hitting bears. And of course, it's snow time is all holiday themed. You're getting in there. It has 30 new levels, snow scientists, and a limited edition winter trophy. It's Snow Time delivers winter themed comedic gameplay for mobile gamers of all ages. Again, What the Golf is awesome. Loved playing co-op with Jen a while back, but this is What the Golf. It's Snow Time, and it's available exclusively on Apple Arcade. Bless and tell me about these PlayStation picks.
I got a PlayStation pick. But before I tell you about it, let me tell you about the big hitter coming out this week. It's a little game called Just Dance 2021, coming out on the PS5 on Tuesday, November 24th. You gonna jump to that Just Dance, Greg?
Oh God, no.
When was the last time you played Just Dance?
I'm trying to think of the year now. Well,
1990.
No, it would have been, I think, 2011. I think 2011 makes sense because I was newly single. Went to the bar with one of my roommates, Mike Mitchell. Everybody knows him. And we met two lovely ladies there. And they were like, "Oh, you guys like video games? We're gonna go back to our house." And I'm like, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" Like, Just Dance. So we went back to their house and played Just Dance. I was like, "All right, this is what it is."
That's awesome.
I'm like, "Y'all like trophies? What about calling all cars? You want to boot up that PS3? Let's go."
What you guys? 2011. You guys have Infamous 2? Let's play. That's hilarious. I think I played Just Dance in December, or no, maybe January. It would have been January because I think I was hanging out at Yusef's place. God. And we got a group and we just started playing.
We get it. You know what I mean? That's the worst part about it. When you come over here, I'll let you watch other YouTube content that's not kind of funny. But you go to Yusef's house, it's got to be a Ubisoft game you play. You know what I mean?
Every time I talk to Yusef, he's like, "So you can play in that Assassin's Creed Valhalla?" And I'm like, "Listen,
you're off the clock, man.
5 people at our company that are playing Assassin's Creed. Why do I have to play it too? Damn it!
You got a referral code? Come on,
man." But we do have one PlayStation pick, a game called Star Renegades that's coming to PS4 on Tuesday, November 25th. Kev, I have the trailer if you want to show it. Star Renegades is a dimension-spanning roguelite strategy RPG. Outsmart uniquely generated adversaries, forge bonds between heroes, and end the cycle. A service robot named J5T-1N, which I think might be Justin, because it looks like a Justin if you look at it written out.
Yeah,
I'm just going to call it Justin.
I can see that.
Justin has arrived in your dimension to warn of impending doom from an overwhelming force known as the Imperium. Fight for survival across a procedurally generated and emergent mission-based campaign through reactive, tactical, turn-based battle system that emphasizes interrupts and counters. Standing in your way is an intelligent adversary system with enemy officers that evolve and move up in the ranks. If you're watching a video, we're looking at it here. The art style looks awesome. And I know it's out on other platforms already, and I've seen it's got pretty good reviews. If you're into this kind of thing, like roguelite strategy games, this might be the one for you.
Wow.
There you go.
The art style's cool, but yeah, I don't think it would be my jam.
It would be I would try it out if I didn't have a million games to play. There are a lot of games.
If I wasn't, telling you what review you had to be on, and it's not that. I ain't putting you on Star Renegades. I understand.
All right. We also have a couple of PlayStation updates. PlayStation is cleaning up on Game Award.
Whoa! It's a PS5 watch, everybody.
Kevin, PS5 watch is over. It's done. The PS5 is out.
No, we agreed on the show that this didn't end till the PlayStation. Didn't we? Greg, back me up on this.
I believe this was a Games Daily where we argued about this, and you busted out.
I missed it, and I just wanted to do it real quick.
Well, it's just it's fine. I liked it. It's constantly a PlayStation 5 watch because it's happening.
It's a very good graphic, and so
it is.
It is. I guess technically, we're always in PlayStation 5 watch then.
Yeah, we're never getting away from it.
We should just stitch that to the end of the actual proper intro of the episode. Every week, it is just it cuts and then goes right into it. PlayStation updates. PlayStation is cleaning up on Game Award noms. This year, Sony Interactive Entertainment is the most nominated publisher with 22 nominations across its portfolio of games. This is the second highest count for a publisher nominations in the Game Awards history, following Nintendo's record-setting 23 nominations for the Game Awards in 2017. Cool. Does this surprise you, Greg? Very big year for PlayStation in Game Awards.
It doesn't surprise me. I get it's cool to see it spelled out. You know what I mean? If you coming into it, you're like, oh yeah, PlayStation is going to dominate. What did Xbox have, right? And then even for Nintendo, like Animal Crossing and Pikmin and the Mario RPG or Paper Mario, sure. But obviously PlayStation was putting out stuff as always, let alone they had The Last of Us Part 2, which got nominated in every category.
Yeah, no, that's the big thing, right? Benji Sales on Twitter mentions that for the 4 titles that got the 4 highest Game Award nominations, right? Last of Us Part 2 is sitting at the top with 10 nominations, and then Hades with 8, Ghost of Tsushima with 7, and then Final Fantasy 7 Remake with 6 nominations.
And that's the crazy thing to think about oh yeah, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, a console exclusive, right? I don't even think about it that often.
Yeah, and that's hard. And I don't even think that's included in the 22 nominations. in terms of PlayStation cleaning up, because like that would add up, I think, to 23, and we still have like Dreams was nominated, I think, for best VR, and I'm sure there are probably other PlayStation games that are sprinkled around all over the place. Like I think Iron Man VR might also be.
It does, yeah, it is there.
Yeah, and so it's it's been a very good year. I was just thinking about this actually, and I'll throw the question to you: is this? What was that?
You're throwing the question to me.
Oh, sorry. I heard something in the background, so I thought like there was something going down.
Well, I heard something too. It sounds like
I think it's Kevin.
Yeah, my mic was on and I was showing Paula how cute the dog is.
How cute is
he's lying on the ground sleeping. It's so cute.
Oh. Is this PlayStation's best year? And I almost want to ask PlayStation's best year of the decade or generation, because I feel like if I say of the generation, that then discounts some of the games that came out within the last month. And so I'm just going to say best year of the decade, of the last decade. Fuck, we're in the new decade, aren't we? Is this PlayStation's best year?
Is this not the last year of the old decade?
I think this is the first year of the new decade.
That makes a lot of sense.
No, I thought it was the other way. I thought it was 1 through 0 because this is 10.
See, that makes a lot of sense.
You said not a 0 through.
Remember, there was a whole Seinfeld joke about this where like Newman booked his new Millennium Party and it was going to be for 2000, and then like Jerry rubbed in his face that actually the new Millennium would start in 2001 since they didn't start at 0.
But there have been so many lists there were so many lists last year of like game of the decade, and nobody's talking about
but for sure.
Nobody cares. It's fucking video games, right? We get shit out of. We do it on a Fiverr. You know what I mean? Do it in 2050. 2025.
2025.
You know, I'm gonna switch sides. I'm gonna change my stance. The 0 is the new decade. Thank you very much.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I agree that it should be.
I mean, should is a different question, because I think I might be with you guys in terms of should.
Like, here's the thing, Kevin. What century are we in right now?
21st.
That's stupid. See, you're right. You're right. But come on, can't we just make it easy? It's 2000. So just give me the first things. I gotta add one every time.
Yeah,
what would you call the first century then? The 0th?
I know.
But here's the thing.
Now you just answered your own fucking question about if it's the fucking 0 or the 1 that starts.
You guys.
Clearly the 1 starts because there was a year 1. There wasn't a year 0.
That already happened, you know what I mean? That's over. It's in the past. We never have to think of the 0th century or the 1st century. Whatever. Fuck them.
So like, did we cross over?
That's what we're calling this.
Did we cross over from 1 BC into 1 AD? Is that how there was no year 0?
Yes.
Remember when we all thought it was BC before Christ and AD after death?
It just made a lot of sense.
No, it's not that.
Is it not that?
No, it's not that. It's this, and it's like
before Common Era and after Common Era.
And this is the thing where it's like, this is why nobody trusts
what does the D stand
for?
Science.
They changed it.
So it was after the death of Christ, but then they changed it to after Common Era. But then that doesn't make sense because what AD doesn't line up with after Common Era.
Yeah, I know. It's
I'm Googling this.
ACE or A, you know the letters.
Oh, they changed it to AC. Gotcha.
I say we bring this back next week as topic of the show. Is this the best year of PlayStation ever or whatever?
Let's do it.
Because this is a big question. Because immediately I go to 2018, right? But it's also a question that, are you including third parties and stuff too, or does it have to be PlayStation exclusive?
PlayStation as the publisher.
Okay, then I want it spelled out. I want some stats here. I don't want to come off half cocked right now.
Because like you look at 2018 and the two biggest games that year in terms of PlayStation, Spider-Man and God of War, and we got Spider-Man Miles Morales, which you say is better.
I do, but you don't believe me because you're wrong. But here's the other thing too. Like you want to, we're putting things on the scales here. Mm-hmm. Don't forget, Patapon 2 remastered this year.
Damn. Yeah. No, that's a juggernaut. Right. I think that overtakes God of War.
I don't know, but I think it's chip damage. It gets there in the end, you know?
No, it overtakes it.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. I'll take it.
Another PlayStation update for you. Absolutely every PS5 is sold out, says Sony. Sammy Barker at Push Square writes this. According to the boss, Jim Ryan, speaking with Russian outlet TASS. Do you call it TASS or do you say TASS?
I say TASS.
I'm going to say
TASS.
But
I'll tell you what. I never heard of TASS till this one Jim Ryan interview, so I really can't help you much.
I'm going to say TASS. Russian outlet TASS says, quote, absolutely everything is sold, end quote. While there has been a trickle of PS5 stock returning to the retail channel this week, it's gone in minutes. And the executive has revealed that after spending much of the year ensuring there's demand for the machine, now he's focused on getting enough devices into the market to meet demand. Quote, everything is sold. Absolutely everything is sold, he said. I've spent much of the last year trying to be sure that we can generate enough demand for the product, and now in terms of my executive bandwidth, I'm spending a lot more time on trying to increase supply to meet that demand, end quote. We're still waiting for the press release on PS5's initial sales figures, but it looks like the company sold every single console it can manufacture. The challenge it now faces is swiftly getting more units into the supply chain before it looks like the product is poised to be difficult to find for the foreseeable future. When do you think we're going to get sales numbers? I know that's a very small part of this, but that was actually the thing I was thinking
through
of.
March, right? Didn't they do like a prediction of what they wanted to sell through March? I would imagine if they when they crossed the number that they had already predicted for March, like if they outpaced themselves, you'd get it right away. And if not, you get to March and find out what it really was. Because that's how it usually works. If it's an incredibly impressive number, they'll tell you ahead of time. And if not, they'll tell you when they either don't ever tell you or when they have to tell you. And I would guess that financials is when they'd have to tell you.
Yeah. But with them saying everything is sold out, you have to imagine it's like it's an incredible number. Unless the number is smaller than PS4, and then they're like, no.
Able to get out. That's the biggest question, right? And in Corona times, everything else that's going on, it's a pain in the butt trying to figure out what that's going to be and where it's going to go. And not to mention that I think it's already started, right? Like it's the normal Christmas thing where I was able to get so many of my friends' PlayStation 5s and I was like, it's finally done. And then like, sure as shit, a week later or whatever it was, got a text from a friend. He's like, hey, my son wants a PlayStation 5. How hard is that going to be? I'm like, why didn't you tell me ahead of time? You know what I mean? Like I would have been able to maybe move stuff around, but now it's going to be really hard for you. And I was like running through the Twitter accounts to follow and the apps to have and all this stuff. And I'm like, God bless you. You got to try. But
yeah. Any thoughts on the PS5 being sold out? Did it surprise you at all?
No, yeah. I mean, it would be way more. It would be way crazier to walk into a Best Buy or look at a BestBuy.com and be like, "Oh yeah, we got them. You want them?"
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm right there with you. And this has been a thing that's been like forecasted throughout the whole year, right? Of like PS5s are going to be sold out, and like we've been saying this all year. And so that's cool. Speaking of Jim Ryan's interview with TASS, Jim Ryan says PlayStation might have an answer to Game Pass brewing. This is from Dmitry Medvedenko at TASS. He mentions, how will we respond to Microsoft's Game Pass? Jim Ryan responds, there's actually news to come, but just not today. We have PlayStation Now, which is our subscription service, and that is available in a number of markets. Greg, what do you look forward to in terms of PlayStation Game Pass? Do you think it is actually going to be a Game Pass competitor or response? Or do you think he's just blowing smoke?
I think there's some smoke to be blown for sure. I remember the other Jim Ryan story this week was the one I was making fun of, where he's like, "Oh, there's no storage shortage. There's no storage problems or whatever." And I almost put it in, but I didn't. There was somebody who wrote into the PS I Love You XOXO mailbag, and the question was just, should Jim Ryan be stopped? And it's like, it's really funny after a week of like kind of what quotes like. There is actually news to come, but not today. It's like, I heard you and Tim talk a little bit about this. And it's like, okay, what? Like, PS Now exists. PS Now is kind of pretty much Game Pass. Like, I would think that the next step for PlayStation right now, like realistic step, would be combining PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now. And being like, it's PlayStation Plus Ultimate, or probably a more inventive name than that, or just change it overall.
PlayStation
and be like,
Divide.
And even if it is that, you're now with PlayStation Plus, you get 3 games on PlayStation Now, and then a discount on the actual subscription if you want to do the subscription, right? Like, I feel the problem with PlayStation Now is just the lack of motivation for people to use it. So if PlayStation was able to bundle that in and give you a reason to actually go try it, you'd try it and be like, oh, this is way better than I thought it would be. Or, oh, this is cool. I'll invest some actual money in here and actually get people using the service. But like, how will you respond to Microsoft's Game Pass? There is actually news to come, but not today. It's like, Xbox will have to pull ahead in units sold and popularity for PlayStation to go, you know what? Every PlayStation first-party game's coming to PlayStation Plus day and date, or PlayStation Now day and date. And I don't see that happening anytime soon. I think that's the ace they keep in their pocket until they actually have to pull it.
Yeah, and I don't know if they'll ever pull that one.
Yeah,
like I don't know
if they'll ever have to.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? I feel like that there is less reason to do that. Like I think at that point, just let Game Pass win, rather than as PlayStation put your first party stuff there day and date.
Yeah.
as I've been reading through these Jim Ryan interviews and these snippets and all this stuff over the last week, right? I've kind of had an eye rolly reaction to everything, right? Even with him talking about how everything is sold, and like I've spent much of my last year trying to be sure we can generate enough demand for the product, and now in terms of my executive bandwidth, I'm focused on trying to increase supply to meet that demand. It's like, what does that mean? Like, what are you saying?
What does that fucking mean?
Yeah, like what are you saying to me? Like it all feels very much like a, hey, I'm gonna do an interview, but I'm not gonna say anything.
The word salad, right? The approach of all execs when they sit down for these interviews.
Yeah, and so like even when I read the response of there is actually news to come, but just not today, that could be as small as, hey, we got 3 games coming out in January 2021 to PlayStation Now that are gonna blow your mind, and it'll be like Final Fantasy VII Remake or something like that, right? Which would be cool, but not necessarily. Might read to him as a response to Game Pass, but doesn't actually read to us as what we actually want out of a PlayStation Game Pass. Or like what might count to us as a response to Game Pass.
No, you nail it. And that's the thing of like, what is the actual response and how much of it is us getting swept up? And like, again, I don't think PlayStation worries about Game Pass yet. They should have a response, and maybe they have like a thing drawn up, but if current financial trends continue, you know what I mean? Like they don't need to worry about it. Yeah, but they do need to worry about it.
Cool.
Bless. This is where we say, what you playing? I will not regale you with any more of my nerdy Spider-Man remastered tactics and trophies and all that jazz. I will tell you that I have been very excited to get back into Fortnite with all of you. We've had a resurgence here in Fortnite of the kind of, again, I realize we're very specific use cases. I also enjoy the PlayStation groups now, where it is that there's the kind of funny group that I made years ago now that I add new people into when we hire them. And it's never had any real use other than me looking at Nick Scarpino and seeing he still hasn't accepted my real name request. But now it's that thing where you guys
there's always that one person that will not accept the
he
real
doesn't
name
even
request.
understand how, I'm sure but now it's the thing. I see it on Slack. Hey, who wants to play Fortnite? Who wants to squad up? You guys start playing, and then I'll see it 30 minutes later, and I jump on and I see you in the voice chat group, and I can easily jump in. I can leave. I can do whatever I want. We can go play. But running around and playing together has been great, especially as like I felt like if things would have happened differently with the release dates, I would have already had a level 100 in the Fortnite Battle Pass. But it dropped, and then a week later came Marvel Avengers, which is where me and my hardcore group of kids got mixed up and went and played that forever. And then it was next gen, and then it was everything. So now to be on the other side of the main thrust of it, to be able to be like at the end of a meeting with you, hey, you want to go play? And like last week's PS I Love You XOXO post show, right, was us just playing Fortnite. Like it's been great.
Yeah. No, shout out to Fortnite. I forgot how fun the game is, and it's remarkably like accessible in terms of I kind of fell off of Fortnite at the end of, I want to say 2018, because Apex came out, and I was like, okay, cool. Apex is now my favorite battle royale. And being gone from Fortnite for so long and seeing it change and seeing all these seasons happen and seeing them add so much stuff, and like hearing people talk about it in terms of like I'm going to go and unlock Thor and do all this stuff, and seeing the cutscenes and seeing the Travis Scott stuff. After seeing all that, I was like, oh man, Fortnite must be a different game. It must be like very difficult to get back into. And playing it over last week, it's been like, oh no, this is the same game. It's just like they've been able to tinker with it and add more things and change it in ways that don't change the core of it. And like the core of Fortnite is really good, right? It's just a third person shooter with the building elements, right, which throws some people off, but like ultimately is pretty easy if you're able to get into it. And they're able to just fold all this other stuff on top and into the game in ways that feel natural and not like don't throw you off as somebody who's been out of it for a while. And so kudos to that.
It felt crazy over the weekend. They announced, that Galactus is coming December 1st, right? Or I don't have one of my calendars.
I don't know the date, but
Galactus is coming, which will end the season. And it is the first. Yeah. And it was like crazy to be like, oh, and I immediately went to the calendar and put a kind of funny live stream on. Because I'm like, we have to. Like, we're all playing it, right? We have to be there to see Galactus and fight Galactus together. Like, that'll be awesome. Like, what a cool thing to go do and see what that actually looks like and what it leads into.
Yeah. I'm really excited for that because I've not necessarily been present for a lot of the big Fortnite events. And I'm like regretful about it because like
totally.
the Travis Scott concert seems so cool.
I always see Jeff Keighley tweeting about it and like, oh man, this is happening. And then there was the one time where when they blew it up and like took the game offline that I tried to join and it was just too overloaded. Like I was trying to join when everybody else was. That's why I put this stream 30 minutes early so we can all be in Fortnite. We can all be there running around playing and then wait to see the arrival of Galactus. Bless, is there anything you have been playing that we haven't talked about?
I mentioned Popping the Plat and Spider-Man Remastered. Whoop, whoop. And then the other game I've been playing is Yakuza Like a Dragon on Xbox, which is it's on PS4 also, right?
It's on PS4 right now, and then in March it comes to PlayStation 5.
Gotcha. And so I'll talk about it since people also have it on PS4 and treat it as a PS5 preview also, I guess.
Guys, this is a preview of a PS5 game.
That game is very good. I am into Yakuza more than I've ever been into Yakuza before. And what's doing it for me this time around, I'm convinced, is having English voice acting. Like,
sure,
I've been playing with English VO and I've not had to worry about, like, I've been able to ingest the game in the way I watch shows and movies at home, which is I turn it on and then I look at my phone while dialogue is happening and I'm listening to it. Like, I can't do that with subtitles, and with a game that is filled with cutscenes and dialogue, I prefer to be able to, if I look away for a minute, not miss what's going on in terms of the dialogue and story. And so I've been enjoying it. I on Twitter, I described the main character, Kasuga Ichiban, as Goku-ish, because he's a very lovable main character. Like, he's lovable. He is a very good fighter. He's somewhat of a dumbass, and like he has a very good heart in terms of caring for other people. Like, I don't want to spoil anything in terms of like where his story goes even early on, but he is put into these different situations where he is alongside people who have been downtrodden and people who are in unfortunate situations, and the care that he exhibits towards these people, I think, is awesome to see in the story. Like, it is very well written, it is fun to follow, and I am excited to play more. And also the turn-based battle stuff is also pretty cool. Like, I played for the little bit of Yakuza 0 that I played, right? Like, I played enough to get a few for the combat and stuff, and playing this game and seeing how he is seeing everything through the lens of Dragon Quest, which is why they call it Yakuza Like a Dragon, is because he wants to live his life like a Dragon Quest game. I think it's very clever, very fun, and there are some really cool references concerning that stuff. That is very awesome and has been very enjoyable to play and experience.
Yeah, I really dug what I played during Xbox Series X preview program when we had it in it, but it was that one where it was when we got code for it, I was like, oh man, like, I want to, but I'm so heads down in these other things that I'm doing in reviews. And then even right now in this dead area, like, that's a game I do want to see through to the end. So I'm waiting till I get on the other side of Cyberpunk and everything else. But half of me wonders if the PlayStation fanboy I am, if it's just going to end up in March, or it'll probably be like February, where I'll finally have time and be like, but I'm so close to coming to PlayStation. Maybe I'll just wait till then.
Yeah, I was going to wait for the PS5 version, but then I realized that, like, I was playing nothing on my Xbox Series X, and I was like, I should play something. And so I booted it up, and yeah, naturally I've gotten so into it. So
see, I play HBO Max and Shudder on my Xbox Series X quite a bit. So there you go.
I do watch a lot of Netflix on my Xbox.
There you go.
That's my Xbox One also.
Other things I've been playing, like I talked about, I said I would keep it short, but bitch about it still. Avengers, we did the Kate Bishop watch along December 8th. She drops first new character for Avengers. Excited about that to an extent, not enough where I'm like fucking crazy about it. But I am also like one trophy away from my platinum in Avengers, which I have been for a while, and I'd hoped to have it before next gen happened, but then next gen happened, I never got to it. So I've started to go back now when I have downtime. I don't want to watch something to go in and chip away at To the Dark and back again, which is to complete 50 hives, and hives are like 30-minute processes.
Oh, dang.
So it's like, and you could play with other people and make it go a little quicker, but then there was a rumor early on that playing with other people didn't count it for you. And I've talked to people online today who say that's not true, but you have to host. And I'm like, I'm not going to fuck with it. At this point, like, I'm just going to roll with it the way I've been rolling with it, of doing the first one, whatever the early one is, on the easiest difficulty, and just clown it out and be done in 25 minutes or whatever, 30 minutes. And so it's the typical fucking nightmare for people like us who are obsessed with the trophies of, cool, I got to do 50 of these. Have I done 10? Have I done 47? I don't know. So there's that moment every time you finish one where I'm like, is this it? No, this isn't it. All right, fucking back to it. Go off, do another one, or wait, turn it off and come back later. And again, if there was a non-stop stream of characters in the game and content in the game and reasons to turn it on every day, this wouldn't be that big of a deal. But when I was trying to knock out this platinum before, next gen, and now in the downtime of waiting for other stuff, is wearing on me a bit now.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, does it not have the ticker thing on the trophies? Then I realized you're playing the PS4 game.
Yeah, they haven't put out a PS5 update yet for this one, or one. They will. And then I played the sequel you were all waiting for in 2020. My Name is Mayo 2. That's right. The tapper is back, Blessing. Go ahead and tap on that mayonnaise jar.
That's actually the thing I'm hiding in my trophies.
There it is. I knew you were gonna do it. I knew you'd be back to get that platinum.
I do not have that amount. I have shame. I will not platinum My Name is Mayo 2.
I'll tell you what, My Name is Mayo 2.
I got halfway to My Name is Mayo 1, and I refused to platinum it, so I didn't finish the game.
Kevin, I'm gonna get you a trailer here so you can see here. All right, here we go. Full release trailer YouTube. I'm tossing this through to you on Slack BKD. So if you don't know what My Name is Mayo is, ladies and gentlemen, of course, it's a game that came to PlayStation, and it's a jar of mayonnaise that you tap on. So you take your little finger and put it over. They've made a sequel. You can see it here right now. There are different mayonnaise jars. There are different outfits for the mayonnaise jars. There are different clear requirements, how many times you have to tap it. They all have little stories attached to them, which are little things saying about some kind of story, and then what the costume they wear in it. To their credit, Blessing, there are mini games this time. There's one that's like Flappy Bird, but it's a jar of mayonnaise. You have to tap through to get it through the things. Yeah, exactly. I think you're delivering pizzas at one point or throwing pizzas at one point. They all happen incredibly fast, and they're done, and you don't have to worry about it. About 45 minutes, you have a platinum. It's something great to do while you listen to your friends on Kind of Funny Games Daily. It's what I did on release date. As soon as I could, I jumped in, got it. I had a great time. And now it's time to put it on the 2020 PSN Games ranked list.
Oh, God.
If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, each week we were reading through the drop. We each play a weird game on PSN. Then we put it on kindoffunny.com/104list. You can go to kindoffunny.com/104list. The top 10 currently are Manifold Garden, Telling Lies, Fall Guys, The Pathless, Bug Snacks, John Wick Hex, Ghost Runner, Streets of Rage 4, Under Night, In Birth, EXE, and Superliminal. Of course, the entire list is 53 games that I won't read for you. Now, here's the thing about My Name is Mayo 2, Blessing Adeoye Jr.
Tell me.
We've had some really shitty games on this list that we've played. You know what I mean? We've played bad games. My Name is Mayo 2 is not a bad game in terms of being broken or whatever, but it's not like it's not like a game, right? It's just it's a clicker. You're just clicking, click. And
clickers can be fun. I love.
They
clickers.
can be, and like they go and they put the goofy stories in here and they do the whole thing. So now I'm just looking of like what I want to play or what can I even remember? Because I look here and I have Rune Lord on 39. I don't even remember what the fuck Rune Lord was.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
No, nothing found for that one right there. Like where would I put it? Eclipse Edge of Light. Like not a good game.
I can't believe we played half of these games.
This was always the point of the list. You know what I mean? Just have no.
What is the Kanakami Way of the Samurai story?
That one is one I played where you ran around and you had like little story and there was like a woman who was bequeathed to you or something and she was there and you went into the dungeons and you killed things and you harvest their shit. See, the problem is so at 31 I have It Came from Space and Ate Our Brains. That was a good game. You know what I mean? But not a good game, but it was a solid game. And it was like, you ran around, twin stick shooter, you shot shit. Then my next entry is at 39, Rune Lord. I can't remember what Rune Lord is. So this has to go above Rune Lord. If I can't remember. Or, but then I'm into a bunch of different games. So there's Throw Anything that you did, Paper Beast, Earth Knight, Hunt Showdown, Castle Pals, Blind Men, Graveyard Keeper. Which one of those do you not care if My Name isn't Mayo goes above? Like, which, like, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't.
Paper Beast. Sorry, go ahead.
I wouldn't put it above any of these. Yeah, Paper Beast was a VR game. It was actually it was good. Hunt Showdown, good.
Yeah.
Blind Men. The Blind Men is where we start to get Castle Pals and Blind Men are where we start to get all right, these are dipping in quality a little bit, but
if you're saying it's underneath the Graveyard Keeper, I'm fine putting it.
Yeah, I'm putting it under Graveyard Keeper.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. My Name is Mayo 2. Enters the fray at 39. Now, I'll tip my hand and tell you I'm gonna have one next week too.
Oh.
I don't know if you're aware. There's a little boy who works at DualShockers named Mario Rivera. Are you familiar?
Very familiar with Mario Rivera.
He's been on some of the shows lately. He's been killing it. But he went and found a game and showed it on his PlayStation 5, and it's called 5 Dates, a live action interactive romantic comedy.
I want to play this also. Please get me a code for this.
I don't. Yeah, that's the thing is I don't know how much it costs. I was just gonna get it because this strikes me as the kind of game that I would not be able to actually get someone to ever acknowledge and give me a code for. Like Kevin, I'm sending you a different trailer. All right. Here's what I want you to know is I know nothing about it other than Mario heard about it on a podcast he was on and then tweeted he was going to start playing it. I wrote to Mario and I said, "Can you give me a review? Can you tell me about it?" Here's what he wrote. I didn't say I was going to read on PS I Love You. Hold on. Well, actually, yeah. Let's watch the trailer together, Kevin. Then we'll listen to Mario's synopsis.
Hello.
Kevin has a trailer.
You want to hear it? Seems like there's going to be a lot of talking.
No, we'll stop doing the trailer. We'll stop doing the trailer.
Dating in the pandemic.
I don't know. No, I think it's just like dating on an app. We'll find out. We got a minute 51, everybody.
Let's do it.
Because like they're at home.
Shut up.
Hello.
Hello, Vinny.
Hi there.
Vinny.
Hello.
Step into the digital dating world.
I've joined a dating app.
You are in the game now, yeah? And we are gonna find you the right girl.
We're actions.
So, I've got a question. What's more important, appearance or intelligence?
Think very carefully.
Oh, and then you gotta pick between appearance and intelligence. Have consequences.
Would you make a move?
If you're lucky, I'd ask you back to mine.
Cocky much?
Have a good one, Vinny.
How far will you
Or
go?
there.
There.
Yes. Vinny needs to get up and twerk.
Excuse me?
To make a good impression is what it said.
Oh, she really impressed. That's the sexiest thing I've ever seen a guy do in my life.
And you can
Your
make it
strategy
last.
seems to be working.
You're a 10 out of 10 in my books.
If you play your cards right.
What would you say if I invited
This is
you
making me
back to mine?
uncomfortable.
I love you.
Whoa.
You said you're gonna play it already. Too late. Jump in.
Whoa. Chill, bro.
I think we've got something good here.
Cheers.
I think
I'm still very curious, so I still do want to play this.
So you're Vinny, right?
If lockdown was a game,
And then-
you'd be winning it.
Is he like trying to?
Get off.
Is he like training you? Is he trying to get you
Your
to?
friend here?
Yeah.
No,
I think he's
your
just your
friend
buddy.
You think he's
yeah,
your friend? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Get off.
Like he's there. He's just there to grant context and like motivate you, like a real friend would. He's the wingman.
So anyways, like I said, Mario Rivera over at Dual Shockers have been tweeting about this after he ran into it on a podcast.
Kev, you might want to put us back on.
You're just showing the chat right now for the live.
Kevin's showing all of our analytics.
You guys, they're not seeing this. We switched.
We never know what. They
I
can see, what they
understand
can't
that, but like, remember, for you guys to hear audio, I have to switch the way that you guys
I see.
watch the thing. You guys should know that by now. See, there's the feed.
Oh, see, yeah, it's in the same. Whatever. Mario DM me this because I hit him up and I said, "How was 5 Dates? How is the platinum?" He said, "I played it 1.5 times, and I think I adore this game. The FMV, it's naturalistic, not super cringe like most FMV games. It's super charming in a Love Actually kind of way. 16 trophies. I got 50% after one playthrough. Trophies are hidden, but have clues that are not spoilery. We'll probably have to be beaten 5 times, so that's about a 130-minute session. That's about 130. Oh, that's about 130 a session. I think you wrote this on his phone, so I don't understand. I'm sorry. Some scenes are skippable. He wants Andy to stream it. Choices section is super quick, but there is a pause mode if you want to weigh the options. Yeah, it'd be a good one to play with Jen. Thank you, Mario, for letting us know. Now, here's my question for you, Blessing Adeoye Jr. How much do you think this PlayStation 4 game is on the PlayStation Network right now?
$20.
Okay, you're wrong. You're wrong, but it's south of that. $12.99, but with a PlayStation Plus discount, you can get it for $11.69 right now.
Oh,
$69.
damn! Look at them.
You know what I mean? So I expect us both to have reviews next week, no matter what happens, no matter what other game may or may not come in. We'll have to stop everything and play 5 dates at least once. I'll play it tonight with Jen. We'll see what happens. Blessing.
Greg.
We ask people here on PS I Love You XOXO to go to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames where they can be part of the show, write in with their questions, write in with their PSN profiles for Trophy and Chill, and of course, watch as we record the show live. While we were live today, Good Hunter L wrote in the chat, have an idea for PS I Love You. You can take it or leave it. With photo mode being so amazing on PlayStation games, it would be cool to submit photos on a game of the week or topic.
Ooh.
That's a great fucking idea.
I'm
embarrassed I haven't thought of it yet.
I like this. I mean, I like photo modes in general, obviously, but like, yeah, having a submission thing, that sounds awesome. If you want to get my attention for photo mode pics for people listening, vertical. I love a good vertical photo.
Oh, like it's on the phone?
Yeah. Like if you if you're taking a screenshot, right, and you roll it 90 degrees and take it there and then turn it back so it's vertical, those always look sick.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Good Hunter L has made a new segment on PS I Love You XOXO called #PS I Love Photo Mode. You get to play whatever, for week 1, play whatever game you want. Do whatever you want, and then send us your best screenshots, your best photo modes on Twitter, because it's the easiest one right there. Just put up the #PS I Love Photo Mode. I will dig through. I will pick one, or Bless will pick one each week. We'll alternate. So Bless, think of it for next week, what game you want to assign for it to be the thing people go do. I'll do this first one, and we'll do it here. And audio listeners, you'll have to listen to us describe it, and maybe go to youtube.com/kindoffunnygames later, and you'll look at there. But for right now, #PS I Love Photo Mode. Go out there, get the best stuff you can. Like I said, I already said the thing about Patreon. I already said the thing about PSN profiles. We have Trophies and Chill from Bo Pullman, who writes in and says, Gressing/Bleg. Trying to combine our names again. It doesn't. Gressing's better than Bleg for sure.
I don't know. I kind of like Bleg. It sounds like a Ratchet and Clank
character. It's you first. That's why
the
you
way
like
it should be.
Bo says, I started watching your show a few months ago and love it as a source of PlayStation news and discussion. I'd appreciate having you both look at my trophy list and let me know what stands out. I just earned my 30th platinum, and I wanted it to be a special one. Platinum. That's on me. Sorry, I've been drinking bourbon all day long.
No, but that's a good one. I'm going to start saying it like that.
So, Bo, I thank you for being a new listener to PS I Love You XOXO. One of the things you left out, though, was that when you do this, you have to give us your PSN name. I didn't see that anywhere in your documentation. I'm opening it again because I did hide some stuff today because I asked for so many different things, but I'm pretty sure I didn't see it in there. Thankfully, you wrote a giant thing here. And I don't mean that as like, oh, I'm joking around, like you wrote too much. You gave us an entire story, which is why I didn't miss it. But hold on, I'm trying to see if I did screw this up. Because, once in a while, Greg Miller doesn't make a mistake around here, especially when he's drinking bourbon at the holiday party. I did screw it up. He did leave it in here. Perfect. Great job. So now we're at psnprofiles.com/Bo, BO_Po, P-O. Bopo. Bopo is 304 in trophies. Right now has 2,408 trophies total and 32 platinums. The most recent 100% would be Nobi Boy. That's Nobi Boy is your most recent one, it says. 23rd of November. It took you 10 years and 2 months to complete getting all the trophies in Nobi Boy. I'll take it. I like it. Anyways, back to your message, though. I got a PlayStation 3 in 2009. Around that time, I was a fairly avid trophy fan, but there's one standout platinum I couldn't achieve. The first Infamous. In that game, I got every trophy except the one for collecting all 350 blast shards. In my best attempt, I found all but one elusive shard, despite many hours of searching the map, clicking L3 obsessively to spam Cole's radar pulse ability. Frustrated and without the patience to consult a guide, I eventually gave up, but the idea of missing this platinum would go on to haunt me in the 11 years that followed. For my 30th platinum, I utilized PlayStation Now service and replayed Infamous, focusing foremost on finding all the blast shards. Without access to my original PS3 console, I had to start a new save from scratch, but it was a joy to revisit the title and mark off the shards on a map as I went. A huge burden has been lifted because of this long overdue achievement. I didn't get a PS4 until late 2018, and over the past 2 years, I've been playing catch-up on the fantastic games released during the last generation, which has been my favorite gaming ride I can remember. I intend to go back and platinum some games I've missed, such as Persona 5, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Ratchet & Clank. Thank you for all the work you do. I will get a PS5 in the next year or two, so I appreciate all the in-depth coverage you guys have done on the new console generation. So again, we're at psnprofiles.com/bo_po. Let's get right down to it.
Speaking of this Noe Boy platinum, I don't know why it reminds me of Katamari, but I did play some Katamari this last week. I forgot to bring that up. What a lovely game.
Beautiful game. How's it hold up?
It holds up.
Because this is the re-release, not a remaster.
Yeah, it's basically a remaster of the PS2 game. And it's the same game. I think it holds up pretty well though, because Katamari in itself is just weird. It's just a weird game, and it has a really good art style that I think visually holds up because it is like this cartoon.
Beautiful game. I loved Katamari on PS2.
Yeah, so it was fun to play. I only played it for like an hour though.
Coward. Back to Bopo. Platinums look like this: Ratchet & Clank, Shadow of the Beast, Infamous. It took 11 years and 5 months. You love to see it. Kingdom Hearts, Until Dawn, Concrete Genie, hell yeah. Days Gone, hell yeah. Last of Us Part 2, hell yeah. The Order 1886, Marvel's Spider-Man. Oh man, you get that PS5, you're gonna turn it on, you're gonna sync it up, you'll be great. God of War, Ratchet & Clank Into the Nexus, Sly 2, Sly Cooper, Jack and Daxter, Uncharted 3, God of War, Ghost of Sparta, Infamous 2, Little Big Planet, Trivial Pursuit, Where the Wild Things Are, Jurassic the Hunted. Now we get into back in the day at IGN trophy hunting, Jurassic the Hunted. This is one that I broke on. I forget which one was it where I had to play like the hardest difficulty or whatever, and I was just like, I can't do this. I got to get out of here. Up, Monsters vs. Aliens, Ratchet & Clank, A Crack in Time, Uncharted 2, God of War 2, God of War 3, God of War, Uncharted Drake's Fortune, BioShock, and your first platinum of all time, Fallout 3 from January 2009.
It's a good one.
Bo, I love the history and legacy of your profile. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
That's really awesome. Speaking of this Order 1886 platinum that he has, what if I just played that game? I never played Order 1886 because it didn't get good, great reviews. And I was just like, all right, I guess I'll just skip it. He platinumed it in a day and 21 hours. And if that's
very
the case,
easy platinum. Very easy platinum.
I might just
very short game in general.
And I know it's a short game, right? Because that was like the big complaint from everybody. What if I just played it?
Go for it. Platinum it. Don't be a coward. Unblock your trophies, coward, and then platinum it.
What are you hiding?
The problem was for me, and it was one of the most.
I'm playing Cyberpunk, Kevin.
I wouldn't say annoying, but you know how like you feel like sometimes luck is a flip of the coin, and it can go your way or can not go your way. And you can see like you're somebody get the easy way out or whatever. Order 1886 came out, right? And we had a review code, and we were all playing it. And there obviously wasn't a good collectible guide out because the game wasn't out yet. And then it didn't track collectibles. So it'd be that thing. And I'm rusty on some of this, but I know the basics of what it was anymore. So it was that thing of played through and beat it and got a bunch of the trophies, but I was still short, like whatever collectible I was short, or multiple collectibles I was short. And I remember, I'll never forget, Colin came into my room and was like, oh yeah, it sucks about these collectibles though, right? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, I'm short one thing. And I'm like, oh yeah. I'm picking those up. And I literally, as I was doing it, went around a corner of a thing and climbed up this pathway and grabbed it. And he goes, holy shit, that's the one I need. And he went back and fucking got it. And I was like, motherfucker. God damn it. And I've never gone back because there's always something else to play to get that. And when I want a platinum, I just put in strawberry shortcake, farts around the house or whatever, and pop a platinum in 3 minutes. You know what I mean? That's a great life to lead. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been PS I Love You XOXO. The show is over for you wherever you're watching it right now, but not if you go to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. We have a question there for the post show that we'd love for you to come be a part of. Remember, at patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, you can give us your questions. You can put in your PSN profiles. You can watch live as we record it and maybe make a brand new segment like Hunter did. You can get the show ad-free, and with the post show we do. However, if you have no bucks to toss our way, it's no big deal. youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, roosterteeth.com, and podcast services around the globe each and every Tuesday morning. A brand new episode chock full of ads, no post show. But we love you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're here in the United States, we want you to have a very, 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 very happy Thanksgiving. And until next time, know it's been our pleasure to serve you.